Discord translating novice. Pahaha, let's see you try. I'll be waiting. You better make it fun for me 200 years from now. From within the barrier, Yuan Li mocked us and concealed his presence. First, we can't discuss our plans in front of the old monster. The leaders of each force should return to their domains and start preparing for the heaven-treading desert massacre and the Great War 200 years later. Chengmun Yungjin spoke, and one of the lords of the eastern states wrapped in white bandages shouts at us. And cultivators at the core formation stage from all over the continent should gather again next time to prepare for the meeting. Let's decide when to meet again. Following his words, the core formation cultivators who have been murmuring for a while began to gather opinions. Among them were core formation cultivators, including myself, who have lost relatives. The old man in mourning clothes stood next to Yuan Li's castle with an empty expression. After a while, the time and place for the core formation conference was set. 10 years from now. The location will be the northern grasslands, easily accessible to cultivators from the divided states of the east and the countries of Shangzi, Yangguo, and Byokra in the west. It's the village of the first tribe in the grasslands, massacred by Yuan Li. Invitations for the meeting were given to the heads of each clan, and 3 of us core formation loose cultivators without a faction received invitations as well. Thus, the core formation cultivators, having received the time, place, and invitations, began to return to their original domains using the flying escape technique. 2 tribal chiefs from the northern grasslands, who lost relatives in the heaven-treading desert massacre. Chengmun Yungjin, who lost Chengmun Ryong. The 3 loose cultivators and me. Even after all the core formation cultivators left, we remained glaring at the Black Castle. 2 of the hermits, after a while, suppress their anger and leave in different directions, but the old man in mourning clothes and I, along with Chengmun Yungjin, stay until the sun sets. Staring intently at the Black Castle, we finally turn our heads when the moon reaches its zenith. I will go now. I need to collect the remains of Ryong. I'll join you. As soon as the word remains was mentioned, I suddenly came to my senses and looked towards Byokra. Chengmun Yungjin says to the old man in mourning clothes, Sir Wo-ryong, do you not have remains to collect as well? It's meaningless to keep glaring at the old monster. Let's retreat and plan for the future. It doesn't matter. The old man Wo-ryong grits his teeth and says, My great-grandson and his wife weren't killed in this massacre. They were murdered about 10 years ago, and I've been wandering the continent since then, unable to find the beast. Seeing the devilish arts left by the old monster in this massacre, I'm sure he was the one who killed my great-grandchildren. I already collected their remains 10 years ago, so don't worry about me and go. Understood. I read the intent emanating from him and asked, You must have cherished your descendants greatly. Suddenly, he turns to look at me. He's about to say something, but after seeing my empty eyes, he's startled and asks back, What did you lose? My lover, my teacher, my friends, and my neighbors. I see, my great-grandson. He was the one I cherished the most. I might not know how you feel and you might not know how I feel, but perhaps we are feeling something similar. Drip, drip. Tears mixed with blood falls from his eyes as he grits his teeth. It might take hundreds of years, but I want to tear him apart and pickle his flesh. He glares at Yuan Li's trapped castle again and speaks. Go ahead and collect the remains of those who were lost this time. I will leave tomorrow. I'll suppress this anger and look forward to the day we kill him together. Chengmun Yungjin and I look at him for a moment. Without a word, we leave him behind and head towards Byokra. It didn't take long to reach Jinsik City again. Whoosh! Jinsik City, having endured the desert sandstorm, is a mess. Blood is splattered everywhere inside the city, and the walls are riddled with holes. The city gates have collapsed, and only the walls, barely holding their shape, indicate that this place was once a city. Inside, the scene was still tragic. The bones of numerous mortals and cultivators lay scattered everywhere. Chengmun Yungjin and I go to where their bodies lay. Kim Young-hoon, neatly divided into 8 parts. Buk Jung-ho, with his neck missing and a hole in his dantian. Chengmun Ryong, with bloodwood sprouting all over his body. Buk Hyung-hwa, missing her lower body. Their remains, exposed to the dry air of the desert for several days, had partially decayed and then dried out, preserved in that state. Chengmun Yungjin silently approaches Chengmun Ryong's remains, and begins to carefully remove the bloodwood that had sprouted from inside his body. I first approach Kim Young-hoon and gather his 8 separated remains. His inner core is gone. As I reassembled his body, I saw that Kim Young-hoon's dantian is also pierced, and his inner core missing. I then wander around looking for Buk Jung-ho's head and Buk Hyung-hwa's lower body. I found a piece of flesh that looks to be Buk Jung-ho's neck, but Buk Hyung-hwa's lower body is nowhere to be found. Reluctantly, I took only Buk Jung-ho's neck and placed it back on his body. I observed their expressions. Kim Young-hoon's face bore a look of regret. But somehow, Buk Jung-ho, Buk Hyung-hwa, and Ching-mun Ryong died with peaceful expressions, as if they completed what they had to do. I should go now. Ching-mun Yoongjin, having removed all the bloodwoods from Ching-mun Ryong's remains and gathered his body, speaks to me while holding him. If you wish to attend Ryong's funeral, come to our main house in a month. I know you are Ryong's friend, so I'll welcome you. Understood. Ching-mun Yoongjin, with a pained expression, holds Ching-mun Ryong's remains and flies away with a dull glow. I look around. Skeletons and bodies scattered in every direction. Dried bloodstains, and the bodies of those who had died, emaciated and twisted. Lastly, the body of Buk Hyung-hwa, whose lower half is completely gone and couldn't be found. Shaking, trembling. I clench my teeth and my hands tremble. I extend my consciousness around, searching for any souls that might have remained in this place. Everyone here had suffered a wrongful death, so I wondered if any had become vengeful spirits. But there is not a single soul left, not even amongst the powerful cultivators, let alone the mortals. There had to be resentment, but perhaps. Gazing at the blazing sun in the sky, I wonder if the intense yang energy of Chinsik City, situated right next to the desert, had caused any remaining souls to ascend forcibly under the sunlight. For a long time, I stand dumbfoundedly in front of Buk Hyung-hwa's body. Reality still feels somewhat unreal. I wish someone would tell me this is all just a terrible nightmare. Standing there stupidly, I slowly look at Buk Hyung-hwa's face. Her face, dried up and twisted in death, is reflected in my eyes. And then finally reality strikes. This is reality. I am standing in this horrific hell. I collapse to my knees, crawling towards her half-remaining body. Trembling. Slowly, very slowly, I reach out to her body, carefully lifting her so as to not damage her any further, and embrace her. Her body is light. Lighter than a feather, having lost her lower body and dried out over several days. Tightly, I hug her remaining body, supporting the back of her head with one hand and pressing my forehead against hers. Our foreheads touch. Even a third-rate romance novel wouldn't be this absurd. We couldn't even confess our love for each other. Everything shattered right before that confession, like a contrived plot twist written by a third-rate author for forced melodrama. Everything felt forced and contrived. Fate, what are you saying to me? Why do you keep taking things away from me? Why me? Why? Kyugug. I move away from Buk Hyung-hwa's body and pound my chest. Kag kurg. Bang bang. As I pound my chest, curses in the form of black scripts burst forth from my mouth. Tig-tog. Hiss. I wonder how many there are. I count the curses rising around me, approximately 3,000, far surpassing the level of the founder who dealt with 108. Every martial art carries the intent of its creator, and understanding this intent is to reach the pinnacle of that martial art. This intent is not limited to martial arts, but also exists in cultivation methods. I finally realized the intent behind the Yin Soul Ghost incantation, the realization imprinted by its creator. Human fate is suffering. Human life is a curse. This world is made of pain. I grip my teeth. A waterfall of emotions pour out. First comes anger and pain, then despair and sorrow, followed by guilt and shame, and self-loathing for myself. I'm sorry, kids. I think of my disciples trapped because of my stubbornness, foolishness, and weakness. The anger instilled in them was partly their own, but also amplified by the cursed souls of their relatives planted by the Jin clan. That's why I wanted to stop them. Back then I was powerless, foolish, and couldn't do anything. That stupid stubbornness was all I could do. I didn't want to see my disciples die miserably. But now I realize how stupid and stubborn my actions were. I'm sorry. Perhaps for some people, there are times when they must move for revenge, even if it means a miserable death. I stopped you, and yet now I'm about to make the same choice as you. I feel pathetic. I always have been. Every time I died. Every time the cycle reversed. I was always pathetic and in pain. It isn't just about losing a loved one. Now, because of Buck Hyung-Hwa's death, I face all the pain and wounds I had forgotten, sealed by my life up until now. Holding her body as carefully as a glass craft, I lament. I vow. The blood around me has dried and turned black. The smell of blood is faint, dispersed by the sandstorm. But around me, my domain of consciousness is dyed in blood red. It seems like the scent of blood faintly reaches my nose. I'll kill him, extract his golden core, crush it, pull out his nascent soul, tear it apart. Surrounded by black curses and red intent, I tightly embrace Buck Hyung-Hwa's body, clad in white. I'll tear off his limbs, scatter them in the 4 directions. I feel like there is a hole in my chest, a hole filled with pain to the point of numbness. I'll rip apart the rest of his body, feed it to the dogs. The evening glow falls over Cheonsik City. The area around Cheonsik City is submerged in a red sunset, turning everything crimson. Our shadows stretch long towards the heaven-treading desert. I'll leave only the beast's head to offer at your. I look at her, then around. Buk Jung-ho, Kim Young-hoon. Chungmun Ryong, who isn't here. And all the neighbors slaughtered in Cheonsik City. The old woman from the paper store, the owner of the sapling store, the guards of Cheonsik City, lovers, children, women, young men. And then, to those trampled by him, I'll burn incense in front of their spirits. I shout to someone, or perhaps to myself, swearing loudly towards the heavens. I vow I will do this. Definitely. Definitely. Tears of red and black mix and flow down as I vow revenge towards the sky. I stagger to my feet and slowly begin to collect the remains of others, burying them in Cheonsik City. Over several days, Cheonsik City became a giant cemetery. Following Buck Hyung-Hwa's will, I buried Buk Jung-ho next to his wife Yeon's grave and buried Buck Hyung-Hwa's upper body under her workshop. Then I entered Buck Hyung-Hwa's workshop and started making glass crafts, despite my mediocre refining skills. I didn't make starfish-like dolls or flowers. I made what I am best at, what I am most confident in making. Glass crafts shaped like swords. I melted the desert sand and made glass flying swords, one by one. I planted these glass swords as burial items in front of the graves of the people of Cheonsik City. In Byokra, it's a funeral tradition to place glass burial items for the deceased. Cheonsik City has thousands of glass swords planted in graves, and I finally place a glass saber in front of Kim Young-hoon's grave, creating a saber tomb. Thud. Tomorrow is Chungmun Ryong's funeral at the Chungmun clan. Before heading to the funeral, I sit in front of Buck Hyung-Hwa's grave. I haven't yet offered a glass craft to her, even though thousands of glass swords are already behind me. Perhaps I still don't want to admit that she is dead. Yes, later. I'll make the burial gift for her after offering Yuan Li's head to the souls of the people and place it on her grave. I hold the jade norigi she left for me to my chest and close my eyes. Tig crack. Black tears run down my face. After a moment of silence in front of her grave, I take out the wooden box she left behind. Inside the box is not a Dharma treasure, but a blueprint for creating one. I read through the blueprint. Buck Hyung-Hwa had created a blueprint for a Dharma treasure that met all the conditions I had mentioned. The name of the Dharma treasure is colorless glass sword. The material is common sand from the desert. The circuit is simple. It's a glass flying sword, the type she most often created with me. // Discord https://dsc.gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 115. What you trampled on the path you have tread 3. Discord translating novice. I spend a long time looking at the blueprint of the colorless glass sword, admiring the artwork she created. Even I, not well versed in magic artifacts, am awestruck by its artistic structure. It's a great Dharma treasure capable of enhancing the power of the formless sword to 100%, no, 120% of its potential. This is the blueprint of the Dharma treasure she left behind. As I read the blueprint, tears streamed down my cheeks uncontrollably. I sit by the grave for a long time, crying, laughing, and mourning. Then, as night falls, and before the next day arrives, I set out for the Chingmun clan to attend Chingmun Ryong's funeral. Chingmun Ryong's funeral is held in a grand manner. He was the pride of the Chingmun clan, known as a prominent figure of the Qi building stage. Being the nephew of the clan head Chingmun Yungjin, his funeral is conducted on a large scale under the clan head's direction. Numerous elders and senior members of the Chingmun clan, along with upper-level cultivators, gathered solemnly to witness Chingmun Ryong's entombment. I watched the scene from behind Chingmun Yungjin. No tears flow anymore. Suppressing the yin soul ghost incantation to prevent curses from erupting during the funeral is all I can do. Krieg. His coffin is sealed, and Chingmun Ryong is laid to rest in the clan's ancestral burial ground. For a while, Chingmun Yungjin recites a eulogy, and I deeply engrave his death in my heart, determined to avenge him against Yuan Li someday. Chingmun Ryong's funeral continued for several more weeks. After it ended, Chingmun Yungjin gathered the clan's elder council and other members to discuss Chingmun Ryong's death, the heaven-treading desert massacre, and the bloodwood practitioner Yuan Li. As a friend of Chingmun Ryong and a core formation-level powerhouse, I was able to attend the meeting. Could it be for another reason? I ponder, watching Chingmun Yungjin unfold the formation Chingmun Ryong created in front of the elders. This has been a secret known only to the clan's elder council so far, but given that serving command palace will appear near Yuan Li's eastern vicinity in 200 years, it's time to speak up. Chingmun Yungjin begins. First, most of the valuable items in serving command palace have been taken by the heavenly being seniors. However, as the council knows, using Ryong's formation, it's possible to harvest the remaining longevity fruits inside. Thus, I propose a plan to enter the serving command palace before 200 years pass to harvest these fruits. Clearly, as the clan head, he has to consider everyone's interests. He looks at me cautiously and asks, Cultivator CEO, although Ryong's death is regrettable, we cannot let the formation you both created go to waste. Could you use the Nether crossing ship to return to serving command palace? He asks cautiously, considering my feelings. However, as soon as I heard serving command palace, an idea struck me. Serving command palace. Hello? Serving command palace, serving command palace, serving command palace. As I repeat, serving command palace, like a madman, the core formation elders and Chingmun Yungjin look at me in shock. I can use serving command palace to catch Yuan Li. Yuan Li will enter serving command palace. He aims to destroy all its floors and seek the hidden serving command seal. Does the clan head remember, serving command palace, what happens when you stimulate its golden order? Though my words are disjointed, Chingmun Yungjin understands and his eyes light up. Are you suggesting bringing Yuan Li down to core formation level? That's right. I reply, my eyes bloodshot. I can catch Yuan Li. I can tear him apart and have a way to take revenge. But the method you're suggesting ultimately involves activating the serving command palace's formation, sealing the cultivation of everyone inside. It's not a long-term solution, and the cultivation restraint applies to everyone. If the old monster drops to the core formation stage, other core formation cultivators will drop to Qi building. In the end, nothing changes. I grin. I can catch him. What? The method I've learned allows me to wield power even under serving command palace's restraint. That's how I endured the spatial pressure and escaped through the teleportation array like the clan head and Chingmun Ryong. After activating serving command palace's golden order and bringing down Yuan Li to the core formation stage, I'm confident I can kill him. At my words, Chingmun Yungjin is startled, and the core formation elders murmur among themselves. The Qi building elders of the Chingmun clan, unaware of our conversation, wear puzzled expressions. Can you guarantee that? If you provide me with spirit stones, I can speak with Song Jin and use the Nether crossing ship to return to serving command palace and prove it. I remember the circuit Buck Hyung Hwa had touched, and how she did it, so I am certain I can do it as well. Chingmun Yungjin, with a solemn face, looks around the audience. I can testify to Cultivator Sio's core formation capabilities. Chingmun Yungjin looks at me. If what you say is true, Cultivator Sio's role will be crucial. I'm aware, if proof is needed, just give me spirit stones. I'll prove it any time. Chingmun Yungjin explains the situation to the elders and senior members, and after some discussion, we eventually decide to visit Serving Command Palace again. Kagagugu. Numerous flying escape techniques lit up the sky. This matter involved not only longevity fruits, but also the possibility of killing Yuan Li, a nascent soul cultivator. Other than Qingmun Yungjin, myself, and 4 core formation elders, 2 core formation elders remained to guard the clan. Qingmun Yungjin carried me on a flying artifact, matching the speed of the other elders' flying escape techniques as we headed towards the Black Wind Sea. Although the acceleration of the formless sword is fast and boasts greater speed in short distances than flying escape techniques, there's a significant difference in long-distance travel between the long-distance suited flying escape technique and the combat-designed formless sword. Therefore, even as a core formation level force, it's more stable for me to travel long distances in this manner on a core formation cultivator's flying artifact. First, once we enter Serving Command Palace, we'll lay down Ryong's formation to fully grow and harvest the longevity fruits over 5 years. Then, after 5 years, we'll inform the other core formation cultivators of your plan and open Serving Command Palace. Is that all right? I nod. If it means killing Yuan Li, anything is fine. All right then. Although the Qingmun clan will monopolize the longevity fruits, it doesn't matter. After all, my initial purpose for obtaining the fruits, Kim Young-hoon, is dead, torn into 8 segments. Shoo. The core formation elders of the Qingmun clan, and I enter the barriers in the Black Wind Sea, where the Nether crossing ship is located. Chua. As we penetrate the last barrier, the Nether crossing ship appears, and sensing our approach, Songjin comes up on the ship, accompanied by. It's been a while, Senior CEO. Seo Ran, dressed in a black robe, stands next to Songjin. Previously half-human, half-demon with scales across his skin, he now appears almost entirely human, save for the dragon horns on his forehead and a dragon tail at his back, likely related to the method taught by Songjin. Around him swirls a sinister devilish aura. He's reached the pinnacle of Qi building. Furthermore, it seems he is on the cusp of reaching core formation. I nod in greeting, unable to speak a cheerful word in my current state. Songjin, noticing my gaze, looks surprised and glances around at us. 5 core formation cultivators and me, a core formation level being, all with grave expressions. I do feel a bit sorry for leaving you all behind in Serving Command Palace last time. Silence. Qingmun Yungjin breaks the silence. We're not here to discuss that matter, Senior. It's just that the current situation in the continent is chaotic, hence the serious demeanor. We hope there's no misunderstanding. In that case. Songjin coughs awkwardly and glances at me, before speaking to Qingmun Yungjin. By the way, what's happening in the continent? I've read the stars, and there's a major upheaval in the celestial energy. Although I don't know the details, I can tell something significant is occurring. At that I speak up. The Bloodwood practitioner Yuan Li. That old monster regained his nascent soul cultivation and committed a tremendous massacre near the heaven-treading desert. All my dear ones died in that massacre. What? Songjin looks at me in shock. Bloodwood practitioner. That guy reached nascent soul. He was deemed a dying core formation cultivator when the various sects and tribes assessed his potential and was thus left alone. He was deceiving everyone. He had already reached the nascent soul stage, but then divided his soul into something called a blood soul, scattering it near the heaven-treading desert. I continue with a listless look in my eyes. In the massacre orchestrated by him in the heaven-treading desert, cultivators at the core formation stage from across the continent came forward to seal him. However, 200 years later, the appearance of Serving Command Palace at the site of his seal has prompted all factions to prepare for a grand war with the nascent soul cultivator. Hearing my words, Songjin looks at Seo Ran. Damn, of all things, reaching the nascent soul stage, and a danger to my disciple, it's driving me mad. I look at Songjin and Seo Ran with listless eyes and ask, my intent turning red again. Why is he a danger to Taoist Seo? At the anger in my voice, not only Songjin, but also the elders of the Qingmun clan flinch. Pointing at Seo Ran, Songjin says, it's because of the blood demon suppressing sea light, a devilish art he has mastered. It specializes in the water attribute, particularly drawing the true blood of sea demon beasts to maximize his physical regeneration. He can also refine and control the souls of demon beasts using this art. The most compatible with his blood demon suppressing sea light are the sea dragon tribe. Worry fills his eyes as he looks at Seo Ran. It's a tale known only to few, but Yuan Li once hunted a core formation sea dragon from the sea dragon tribe. Sea dragon King Seo Hrial chased him for 3 days and nights, admonishing him, and mercifully forgave Yuan Li after retrieving the sea dragon's soul and corpse. Seo Hrial is compassionate, but too soft. If it were Black Ghost Valley, anyone who harmed our disciples would have had their soul extracted and refined into a ghost. Retrieving the soul and corpse of the sea dragon. I recall the soul of a blood dragon among the 7 souls Yuan Li had controlled, which resembled a sea dragon. If Seo Hrial retrieved it, why does Yuan Li still have the soul? Anyway, with Seo Hrial gone, Yuan Li won't need to worry about the Sea Dragon King's eyes. There's a high chance he will target Seo Ran to cultivate blood demon suppressing sea light. Seo Ran's half-dragon blood is from royal lineage. Yuan Li, knowing the value of that blood, will be desperate to get it. Song Jin crosses his arms, looking worried. Chengmun Junjin then speaks. Indeed, given Yuan Li's nature to drench the entire continent in blood, core formation cultivators have united to stop his return in 200 years. We've come to seek your guidance in devising a plan against him. Chengmun Yungjin then explained the plan using serving Command Palace against Yuan Li. So, the plan is to draw him into serving Command Palace and kill him. Yes, that's right. It's risky. Song Jin expresses his concern. You might not know, but serving Command Palace, also known as Liberation Palace, is not the main artifact. Yes. Confusion appears on the faces of Chengmun Yungjin and the elders. What does that mean? Seems you don't know. The serving Command Palace, crafted by the heavenly artisan, is originally a small cylindrical seal the size of a palm. The current serving Command Palace is an enlarged palace built in the shape of that seal. Song Jin continues his explanation. The serving command seal, also known as the liberation seal, was made before the appearance of the Ascension Gate. It bestows blessings for ascension, drawing the blessed one's fate towards the upper realms, closing the distance. However, as a side effect of imposing the attraction of fate, the bearer of the serving command seal will receive heavenly fate. Heavenly fate, you say? Yes, core formation cultivators might not fully grasp the concept of fate, but as someone who has reached heavenly being, I am aware of the power of heavenly fate and must warn you. Luring him into serving command palace to fight means there's a chance he might obtain the serving command seal and gain the protection of heavenly fate. If that happens, unless there's a being with even stronger fate, no one can withstand the heavenly fate brought by the serving command seal. Fate, heavenly fate. Chengmun Yungjin looks puzzled but nods in understanding. Though Song Jin had fallen to the core formation stage, he is evidently a remnant soul who reached heavenly being, and his experience and authority are beyond Chengmun Yungjin's. Hold on, but senior, that serving command seal, we weren't aware of it. What are the chances he knows about it? As a Chengmun clan elder asks Song Jin, they realize the contradiction in their question. Just because they were unaware, it didn't necessarily mean the old monster who has lived longer than them wouldn't know. Indeed, Yuan Li is aware of the existence of the serving command seal. Yuan Li knows about the serving command seal. It's one of the pieces of information I obtained while surviving against him. I can't reveal my return, so I spoke vaguely, but it's enough to darken the others' expressions. However, I look at them and say, so, are you planning to cancel the plan? If the issue is him getting the serving command seal, just kill him before he can obtain it. I look around with a listless expression and continue. It seems everyone is skeptical since I haven't proven my strength under the restraint. Anyway, let's go to the serving command palace and prove it first. Chengmun Yungjin nods in agreement. Either way, regardless of cultivator Seo's situation, we need to harvest the fruits, so let's proceed. Kung. A Chengmun clan elder places spirit stones in front of Song Jin. We ask for your help, senior. Please use the Nether crossing ship to go to serving command palace. We need to head there for our own reasons. Well, with these spirit stones. After inspecting the spirit stones, Song Jin activates the Nether crossing ship again. Kagagugugu. The Nether crossing ship rises. I look around with a listless expression and approach Seo Ran. Taoist Seo. Yes, senior Seo. Last time, you promised to fulfill one of my requests, right? That's right. I take out the space-breaking bead from my belongings. I have a request for Taoist Seo. That is, teach me how to activate this. // Discord https://dsc.gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 116. What you trampled on the path you have tread 4. Discord translating novice. This is. Co Ran takes the space-breaking bead from me. After a moment, his pupils quiver. Where did you get this? Well, I hesitate for a moment and then tell him honestly. The Sea Dragon King instructed me to pass this Dharma treasure to Taoist Co. I was overtaken by greed and kept it for myself. I didn't hand over the space-breaking Dharma treasure to Co Ran. But the space-breaking bead was useless even when filled with spiritual power, apparently requiring some special condition to activate. I'm sorry about that, however. Wait. Co Ran, holding the Dharma treasure, stiffens and says, Please wait a moment. He puts the space-breaking bead into his sleeve and flies to the helm of the Nether crossing ship to speak with Song Jin. They seem to be having a conversation, and I could sense complex and nuanced intents flowing from the helm. After a while, the Nether crossing ship arrived at serving Command Palace in the void space. Co Ran continued talking with Song Jin, still holding the space-breaking bead. I glance at them briefly and decide to discuss it again after returning from serving Command Palace. Then, I head into serving Command Palace with the core formation cultivators of the Chingmun clan. Before setting up the formation, everyone please wait. I signal to Chingmun Yungjin and the elders, then head to the core of serving Command Palace and fiddle with the part Buck Hyunghwa had manipulated, using the exact same method she did. Kagagugu. Pressure builds up throughout serving Command Palace, and our spiritual power is sealed by 1 level. Kagagugu. My cultivation level dropped by 1 big stage. To others, I appear like a chi refining cultivator. The other core formation cultivators drop to the chi building stage. Now show us, can you in this state still exert the power of a core formation cultivator? An elder of the Chingmun clan asks me. I nod, grasp the formless sword, and swing it towards one of the internal structures of serving Command Palace. The structure, already half destroyed when I came with Buck Hyunghwa, crumbles to dust with a single stroke of my sword. Do you believe me a little now? At my words, the elders of the Chingmun clan look at me in stunned silence, then nod. After a while, the golden order of serving Command Palace deactivates, and I say to them, the restraint lasts for about an hour. Even if we try to extend it by tampering with serving Command Palace's circuitry, the maximum would be about half a day. The elders of the Chingmun clan ponder over my words. Anyway, my capabilities should now be confirmed. Chingmun Yungjin and the elders all nod in agreement. Understood. When we capture Yuan Li, well planned based on your abilities. About that. One of the elders speak to Chingmun Yungjin. Chingmun Yungjin, receiving his gaze, asks me. Then, could Cultivator Co please set up the formation now? Certainly. It's a formation I'll have to set up in my next life anyway. Setting it up in advance wouldn't be bad. I take the formation artifacts created by Buck Hyunghwa and install it throughout the first floor of serving Command Palace. Then, after a while, I approach the longevity tree in the central arboretum of serving Command Palace, where the longevity fruits are about to ripen. I stand there gazing at the blossoms on the longevity tree, lost in thought. The one who should have eaten these fruits is gone. But I've only just found a way to harvest them. What meaning is there in this life, now devoid of a reason to? With a listless gaze, I activate the formation indifferently. Kagagugu. Spiritual energy from all over serving Command Palace converges here. It's incomparable to the formation spread through the weak dragon veins near the heaven-treading desert and Chinsik City. A massive wave of spiritual energy surges towards this place, filling the surroundings. Chingmun Yungjin and elders, beholding this majestic scene, stand with their mouths agape in awe. However, I just stare blankly into space with a listless expression. Kagagugu. The formation has been activated. In 5 years, the formation will pour the accumulated wood element spiritual energy of this area into the longevity tree, rapidly accelerating the growth of the fruits. That's great, thank you. I listen to the thanks of the Chingmun clan elders, standing there blankly. After adjusting the formation a bit, we left serving Command Palace. Thank you, Cultivator Co. We'll return in 5 years to harvest the longevity fruits. After making plans for 5 years later, I parted ways with Chengmun Yungjin and elders. As the Chengmun clan disappeared, Songjin and Seo Ran approached me. Coom. At Songjin's will, the nether crossing ship traversed space and settled above the distant ocean. What's the matter? Seo Ran, who has been emitting complex intent, asks me with a trembling voice. This Dharma treasure, did the Dragon King really give it to you? Yes. And he really asked you to pass it on to me. I nod. Seo Ran stiffens. And you prove its authenticity with a ghost path oath here, in front of the nether crossing ship. His face turned pale as he spoke. It said that if an oath or statement made in front of the nether crossing ship is broken, the soul would be sucked into it after death. I calmly reply, I swear in front of the nether crossing ship. It's true that Seo Hrial asked me to pass the space-breaking bead to Taoist Seo. Ha ha ha. Seo Ran, with a stunned expression, laughs and holds his head. Watching him, Songjin speaks with a bitter voice. I didn't know the Sea Dragon King had such a side, such heartlessness. Holding the space-breaking bead, Songjin continues. According to our investigation, this Dharma treasure can only be activated by someone with the true origin blood of the Sea Dragon tribe, and only by someone designated by them. If not of the true origin blood, one cannot even interfere with the Dharma treasure, and if not designated by a Sea Dragon of true origin blood, it cannot be activated. And he glances at the space-breaking bead and continues. The designated person for this bead is Seo Ran himself. Master, I, your unworthy disciple. Go rest inside. Thank you. Seo Ran, with a pained expression and holding his head, said he needed some time alone and went inside the nether crossing ship. Songjin sighs and asks, You know what this Dharma treasure is? I do. I tell the truth, and Songjin looks at me. His eyes blaze with ghostly fire. Knowing it's a self-destructive Dharma treasure, you accepted Seo Hrial's request. That's why I didn't deliver it until now. I asked for the method of using this Dharma treasure for my own purposes. I didn't expect him to realize so quickly. In my previous life, Seo Ran realized the purpose of the space-breaking bead only when it was time to activate it. I never thought he would realize it immediately in this life. It seems Songjin has taught him well. I look at Songjin. After locking eyes with me for a moment, he lets out a faint sigh. Thank you for not passing that Dharma treasure to my disciple. If it had been activated, the nether crossing ship would have crumbled, and I wouldn't have been able to teach my disciple and pass down the legacy of the Azure Ghost Valley. Songjin says with a bitter tone, looking at the space-breaking bead. It's nothing. By the way, I still have one more favor you owe me. Ah, that's right, indeed. I speak to Songjin. I'll use my last favor, please. Drip, drip. Just thinking about it, curses begin to erupt around me. Help me. Startled, Songjin flinches and stares directly at me. Help me take revenge. He seems to ponder. For that, ask Seo Ran. Perhaps my disciple can be of more help to you. What do you mean? Songjin continues. I recently sent my disciple deep into the sea to gather yin energy, but actually, I had another task for him. Oh? He points southwards over the nether crossing ship, towards the Black Wind Sea. At the far southern end of the sea, near World's End, lies the homeland of the Sea Dragon tribe, the Sea Dragon Palace where the Sea Dragon King resided. For some reason, Seo Hrial left Seo Ran here and covered the Sea Dragon Palace with a massive seal before leaving, preventing Seo Ran from entering to cultivate. I listened silently to Songjin's explanation. According to Seo Ran, if the nether crossing ship is destroyed and the souls of the Sea Dragon tribe previously swallowed by the ship are freed, those souls will teach Seo Ran how to break the seal. But now that he is my disciple, I can't allow him to shatter the nether crossing ship and do such a thing. I instructed Seo Ran to reach the nascent soul stage and directly interact with the nether crossing ship to extract the souls. A nascent soul cultivator can retrieve the souls devoured by the ship. And to do that, entering the Sea Dragon Palace, filled with the spiritual elixir of the Sea Dragon tribe, is the first step. I taught him a corroding great spell, and asked him to break through Seo Hrial's seal. Songjin chuckles. Whether he rescues the souls of the Sea Dragon tribe first and then enters the Sea Dragon Palace to enhance his skills, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. Seo Ran agreed to do so. I also taught him the famous formations of the Azure Ghost Valley to help him break the seal. Now, he's almost breached the corner of the seal, and it seems only a strong final push is needed to break in. So you want me to help Seo Ran break the seal? Yes, the weird method you've mastered boasts immense offensive power, surely enough to break the seal. He's been gathering energy for a powerful strike, but if you help, that may not be necessary. It seems he wants to use my strength for Seo Ran's benefit. But that doesn't matter to me. What's important right now is helping Seo Ran break the seal. Does that create a way to confront Yuan Li? Yuan Li. Finding the best way to kill him is my goal. Song Jin nods. Even if Seo Hwial's abilities are great, it's impossible for him to ascend with all the treasures accumulated over the long history of the Sea Dragon tribe without something equivalent to the Nether Crossing ship. Surely, a considerable amount of treasures must remain inside the Sea Dragon Palace. Moreover, most of the treasures of the Sea Dragon tribe are items that can gain an advantage over Yuan Li's two main devilish arts. There's a high probability that objects antagonistic to him are piled up inside. Hearing this, my eyes widened. I will help Taoist Seo. It doesn't matter. If it can give me even a slight advantage over him, I will do anything. At those words, Song Jin nods in satisfaction and enters the Nether Crossing ship. Shortly after, Seo Ran comes out with a gloomy face. I heard you will help me, Senior. That's right. I'm a bit shocked, but I understand, thank you. Seo Ran turns to Song Jin. Master, please head to the southern end. Haha, I understood. Hence, we steer the Nether Crossing ship towards the Sea Dragon Palace, the former base of the Sea Dragon tribe, located at the world's end, in the south. Jang. As expected, this sea area doesn't suit the Nether Crossing ship. The southern sea is calm, the sky clear, and the sun blazing intensely. The heaven and earth spiritual energy is stable, and it seems unlikely for storms to occur. Compared to the Black Wind Sea, where clouds gather frequently, the southern sea looks very peaceful. Most of all, the spiritual energy floating between heaven and earth is incredibly clean and warm. It even feels somewhat sacred. Disciple, lead the way. Yes, Master, the Sea Dragon Palace is at the bottom of this deep sea. Seo Ran points downwards into the waters. Despite the clear weather, the deep blue sea is dark, and its depth seems immense. However, Songjin doesn't seem bothered and simply nods, holding the steering wheel. Good, then everyone hold your breath. Kagagugu. Soon after, the Nether Crossing ship, engulfed in ghostly energy, begins to submerge into the sea. Such a variety of functions. Jayla. I ponder this while observing the ghostly energy of the Nether Crossing ship repelling the water. The ghostly energy of the Nether Crossing ship seemed to be slightly consumed by the sunlight above the water surface, but as it descended deeper, it absorbed the yin energy of the deep sea, replenishing its strength on its own. This is all just a ruined Rex functionality. I look around the Nether Crossing ship for a while before losing interest. Buk Hwa, Kim Young-hoon, Chung Mun Ryong, Buk Jung-ho, and the neighbors of Chinsik City. After they died, I somehow lost enthusiasm for everything. Even seeing something fascinating only sparks temporary interest. Kagagugu. After descending into the deep sea for a period of time, the Nether Crossing ship finally reaches the seabed. Kagagung. We've arrived. Follow Seo Ran and break the seal on the Sea Dragon Palace. I nod and, holding my breath, follow Seo Ran out of the ghostly Nether Crossing ship. Jaek. The immense water pressure presses down on me, but with Gang Chi flowing in my veins, it isn't a big threat. Being unable to breathe is also not a problem, as I could last 3 or 4 days longer than mortals. Seo Ran transformed into a sea dragon form and swam ahead in the deep sea. The surface was full of warm and pleasant spiritual energy, but the deep sea below is somehow desolate. It is dark and devoid of life. There should be life even in the deep sea. However, around here, it seems as if no living creature exists. Even microscopic organisms didn't appear within my domain of consciousness. It's almost like the Dead Sea. After a while following Seo Ran, I understood the reason. Kagagugu. A massive wall of darkness. A huge, semicircular something is covering the land at the bottom of the deep sea in front of us. And this wall of darkness seems to be endlessly absorbing the vital force around it. Is this the seal of the Sea Dragon Palace? Since the demon race's language vibrates spiritual energy instead of air, if one is capable, there's no need to open the mouth to speak. I asked Seo Ran in a breath-holding state, and he nodded. Yes, please follow me. Over there in the corner is the weakest flow of the seal. I have cast a corroding spell there to weaken the seal. I swim for a while following Seo Ran, and then, at one corner of the seal, I can see it surrounded by dark mist. Kagagugu. The yin energy and ghostly energy densely accumulated by the formation sticks thickly towards one corner of the seal, burning a blue ghost fire. Having some expertise in formations myself, I can tell which part of the seal the Black Ghost Valley's notorious formation, the Ghost Whale Corroding Formation, has weakened. Do I attack the center? Yes, please, I ask for your help. Calmly holding the formless sword, I take a stance. Kagagugu. And then, I thrust the formless sword towards the Ghost Whale Corroding Formation. Kulu. The seabed of the deep-sea shale. Although there is no loud explosion underwater, massive ripples spread out visibly around it. But the formation set by Coh doesn't budge. Is this not enough? I once again hold up the formless sword. Severing Mountain Swordsmanship, Ultimate Technique, Severing Mountain. Kyuyo. Once again, a cloud of dust rises from the bottom of the deep sea. So this is how much it weakened. This time there was a vibration, but the seal remained strong. After executing Severing Mountain, I immediately returned to the stance of Transcending Mountain. I maintain the state of endless mountains beyond mountains. While maintaining endless mountains beyond mountains, I repeatedly strike Coh's seal with Severing Mountain. It took about 16 consecutive hits of Severing Mountain, executed by the formless sword before the seal cracked. Jack Jedajak. The seal had split open. And then, Jayla. A hole opened up, causing the surrounding water to be sucked inside. Puha. I enter inside with the water current. Puha. Hayla. The inner space seems to be filled with air, allowing me to breathe. After a while, Seo Ran transforms back into his human form and enters inside. It's been a long time since I've been here. I haven't been here since I was very young. Seo Ran looks around, seemingly nostalgic. What immense energy! I absorb the surrounding spiritual energy, observing the immense spiritual energy filling the area. The spiritual energy inside the seal is extraordinarily higher than outside. Apparently, the seal not only blocked access for outsiders, but also seemed to absorb the surrounding spiritual energy and vital force, concentrating it inside. Just then, I see the Sea Dragon Palace unfolding before my eyes. Like an ancient imperial palace of the human world, it is lined with stately halls and ancient palaces. The jade-colored tiles on the halls, which appear somewhat divine at a glance, are lined up, giving off a grand feeling. However, as I look at these halls, I feel something strange. Something familiar. Kyujudyuk. I execute the earth wall spell to block the water pouring from the cracked opening. Then, kicking off the void, I fly up into the sky. Senior. Seo Ran looks at me, puzzled, but I fly up into the air to take in the whole view of this ancient Sea Dragon Palace. The structure of this Sea Dragon Palace is... I have seen a structure resembling this Sea Dragon Palace before. //// Discord https://dsc.gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 117. What you trampled on the path you have tread 5. Discord translating novice. This is definitely the overall structure of the Sea Dragon Palace in front of me, and the ritualistic formation I saw in the hidden room on the top floor of Serving Command Palace. Somehow their structures overlap in my mind. After observing the Sea Dragon Palace for a while, I descend and ask Seo Ran. Taoist Seo, do you know anything about the construction of the Sea Dragon Palace? Oh, are you asking about the structure of the Sea Dragon Palace? Seo Ran gestures in the air, softly touching the spiritual energy flowing around. As you are feeling right now, this Sea Dragon Palace always has a flow of auspicious energy and comfortable spiritual energy. I see. Indeed, the area where the Sea Dragon Palace is located always has a strange flow of auspicious energy, and I could feel a faint sense of sacredness. At the same time, absorbing the spiritual energy of the Sea Dragon Palace seems to clear my mind somehow. The Sea Dragon Palace itself forms a kind of ritualistic formation, and the Dragon King said that this formation is designed to awaken and clear the minds of the Sea Dragon tribe living here, maintaining their pure and composed state of mind. A formation for mental awakening. I recall the formation in the hidden room of Serving Command Palace. If the structures are almost identical, even if the effects are slightly different, surely the formation in Serving Command Palace is also related to the mind. I fall into doubt. Why? Is there a mind-related formation left in Serving Command Palace? What was the Sea Dragon King thinking? I'll have to ask Song Jin later if he knows about this formation. Anyway, let's search the Sea Dragon Palace. Seo Ran leads the way, looking around. This is the outer palace, with various complex formations, but once we enter the inner palace, there are almost no formations, so we can look for Dharma treasures or spiritual elixirs there. Understood. I followed Seo Ran, breaking through the formations of the outer palace and entering the inner palace. The deeper into the Sea Dragon Palace, the more intense the auspicious and sacred energies seem to become. My mind is becoming clearer. Gradually, my consciousness became clearer. What can be in this place? Seo ran, and I decided to split up and search different parts of the Sea Dragon Palace. There are prohibitions everywhere. The outer palace had traps where if one steps wrongly, they fall into a maze-like formation. However, the inner palace had active prohibitions spread throughout. Each one is not easy to deal with. It takes 2 or 3 strikes with a formless sword to break them. But the presence of prohibitions means something valuable is hidden inside. Where should I start searching? Just when I am wandering inside the inner palace. I suddenly find one hall among the many, uniquely without any prohibitions. This hall is among the larger ones, and though there are no prohibitions, ritualistic scripts are engraved all over, emitting spiritual energy. Clearly, it's no ordinary place, but strangely, this is the only place without prohibitions. I enter the hall feeling something odd. Creak. Startled. As I opened the door and entered, I trembled at the strong smell of blood coming from inside. This place is... The inside of the hall is spacious. Along the edges of the hall are numerous bookshelves, and in the center there is a large celestial map. The celestial map depicts constellations corresponding to the 28 stars, positions of the Purple Forbidden Enclosure, Supreme Palace Enclosure, and the Heavenly Market Enclosure. It also shows the sun and the moon embroidered on it. And above the beautiful celestial map, there's dried scattered blood, giving off a chilling feel. What on earth is this? Moreover, while the bookshelves along the edges are intact, there are no books inside, only heaps of black, burnt charcoal. The bookshelves were all charred as if. Did someone kill the inhabitant of this place and burn all the books of the hall's owner? The most likely suspect is certainly Seo Atrial. Given his twisted nature, it's entirely possible he would do something like this. The reason there are no prohibitions here is perhaps because there's nothing left, so there's no need to set them up. It seems I have stumbled upon the scene of someone's crime, with nothing else to gain. I was about to leave the hall when it happened. A sensation caught my attention, a sensation only I could perceive, having mastered the Yin Soul Ghost incantation, a curse method. This is a curse. Someone had left a deep, lingering curse here. Jiying. My inner core suddenly vibrates. And then I feel the intense curse that had been lingering somewhere rushing towards me. Oh no! I panic and try to neutralize the curse with the Yin Soul Ghost incantation, but the curse already attaches itself to me. And then, someone's voice began to be heard. We'll find her, red human. A voice filled with intense resentment. Seo ran outside not. The voice filled with pain speaks. Trust him and trust to him, Ran look under celestial map. And with that the voice cuts off. PSSSA. The curse that was attached to me, seemingly with the sole purpose of conveying that message, disappeared after leaving me with a slight headache. Look under the celestial map. The floor where the celestial map is drawn is made of stone slabs of jade. I infuse my arms with pure spiritual force and forcefully insert my fingers between the slabs, lifting them. Uguk. Gradually, the slabs are lifted up. Beneath, there is a decaying leather-bound book, seemingly just an ordinary item with no spiritual energy, probably just a diary of the voice's owner. An item not even detected by my consciousness. It seems that these jade slabs had some role in blocking consciousness and spiritual energy. I pull the book towards me using sword control, then put the slabs back in place. Kagugu. The slabs were quite heavy, so I wiped off my sweat. On the book is a simple title in demon script, Diary. Why would they want to pass on their diary to Ran? I checked the diary for any special spells or techniques. Indeed, it's just a diary, without any traps or backhands. Sarak. The owner of the diary, a sea dragon tribe elder named Jian Hyang, was an astronomer, responsible for celestial observations. Most of the diary's content involved their daily activities as an astronomer, noting unusual celestial phenomena, what they ate that day, conversations they had, and the weather. I spoke with a senior of the Heavenly Circle stage today. He told me that if I keep observing the world's end, my headache will only worsen and advised me to consume an elixir for relief. The person referred to heavenly being cultivators as seniors of the Heavenly Circle stage. The demon race often uses the term heavenly circle instead of heavenly being. Those who typically dislike the term heavenly being tend to hold demon race supremacy beliefs, and they are known to capture and consume humans. Indeed, Jian Hyang often consumed human elixirs. I extracted and consumed the core formed by the livestock trained in the summoning wind, coagulating core transformation. Indeed, its efficacy is remarkable. The headache has disappeared. There are rumors that the king has developed an even more exceptional livestock cultivation method. Not only does it involve extracting the cultivation efforts of the livestock by infusing them with the true blood of the sea dragon tribe, but it is also said to be an outstanding method that allows the sea dragon tribe to resurrect in the livestock's body once, should they die in battle. The livestock's body serves as a vessel for this singular resurrection. Regardless of the species, exploiting another race to this extent, is that really right? I flip through the diary, clicking my tongue at the sea dragon tribe's anecdotes. Sarak. As I browse, I pause at a certain entry. Today, the Dragon King, I and the other astronomers, along with the elders of the sea dragon tribe, gathered for a meeting. The king explained the astronomical records we had submitted to the elders, sharing a certain speculation he had been considering. It was a truly chilling speculation. If it were true, it meant that those living in this world could only prove their dignity by ascending and leaving this world. A Heavenly Circle elder opposed the king's words. He said it was too far-fetched, a speculation. Although I felt chills, I do think the king's words were a bit exaggerated. It was a meeting that gave me much to ponder. I must visit the world's end more frequently and observe the heavens more closely. This was the end of that day's entry. Speculation. What is the speculation mentioned here? What exactly did Coatl think upon seeing the astronomical records? I continue flipping through the diary. The next few pages were records of mundane daily life. Then once again, I stop at a section of the diary. It seems the Dragon King had observed something else separately. The king called together the elders and us astronomers, presenting a hypothesis about the speculation he had mentioned. It was an interesting hypothesis. In this world, day and night do not actually exist. Rather, it's merely that the heaven and earth spiritual energy divides into yin and yang, circulating in a cycle. On a macroscopic level, the grand flow of spiritual energy divides into yin and yang, rotating this world, leading to the illusion of day and night. In our world, day and night do not actually exist. What? Day and night do not exist. What does that even mean? I look at the sentence several times, unable to comprehend. But still, I can't understand. It was disrespectful to the king, but we astronomers couldn't help but laugh. The idea that day and night don't actually exist while the sun and moon orbit the world. As we struggled to contain our laughter, the elders became furious. Eventually, we were scolded, listening to the wrathful voice of the Grand Elder. Normally, such disrespect could have warranted punishment, but the king, with a heart as vast as the sea, forgave us. The king may indulge in somewhat extravagant imaginations, but his boundless compassion and heart are truly admirable. I only feel sorry towards the king. The sun and moon orbit the world. Apparently, in this world shaped as a flat plane. The heliocentric model, where the world revolves around the sun, doesn't apply, but rather a geocentric model, where the sun and moon orbit the world, seems to be the accepted theory. But Coatl's statement concerns me. If day and night doesn't truly exist, does that mean neither geocentric nor heliocentric models apply to this world? With this question in mind, I turned the page. Recently, a half-human, half-dragon brat named Seo Ran is causing a stir in the Sea Dragon Palace. If it weren't for his royal lineage, I would have driven him out immediately, but he always clings to me and annoys me. The king always greets Seo Ran with a smiling face, but those with insight know that the king doesn't really fancy him. Ironically, that annoying brat follows the king the most, but does he realize that it's the king who most often orchestrates situations to avoid him? I wish that brat would soon realize this himself and leave the Sea Dragon Palace. Sararak. I turn to the next page. The astronomers plan to go to the world's end to properly align ourselves and observe the orbit of the sun and moon, intending to shatter the king's speculation. Some of the elders subtly support us. They seem to want to prove that the king's extravagant speculation is wrong. The idea that day and night don't actually exist. As sorry as I am to say this about the king who has accomplished so much, it seems that the king might have spoken so because of his lack of understanding in astronomy. I won't be able to write in this journal for the next few months. We'll be holed up at the world's end, repeatedly observing. I must take plenty of the livestock's cores with me. The headaches worsen when continuously facing the world's end. Sararak. The following pages are blank. As I continue turning the pages, I eventually reach a part where the diary resumes. The handwriting here is incredibly erratic. It is evident that Jian Hyang was extremely agitated when writing this entry. With my own hands, I succeeded in observing the sun and the moon. It's unbelievable, the results are too strange. Neither the sun nor the moon orbits the world. Both celestial bodies are simply fixed in one place in the sky. Even the rising and setting of the sun and moon from the east and west are just an illusion. The actual position of the sun and moon is in the south, closest to our Sea Dragon tribe's homeland. The hypothesis proposed by the king was correct. Neither the sun nor the moon orbits. They simply remain in place, and in this world there is no day or night. What we thought of as day and night is merely the macroscopic circulation of the yin and yang of heaven and earth spiritual energy. Jian Hyang's handwriting is extremely shaky, as if their hands were trembling while writing. I can feel from his writing that Jian Hyang was terrified. If the king's hypothesis is proven, then what does it say about this world? Isn't the form of this world too grotesque? Have we been breathing, cultivating, and living in such an ominous place? How are we any different from maggots? I began my observations intending to refute the king's speculation, but in the end, the astronomical observations of myself and the other astronomers only splendidly proved the king's hypothesis. The Council of Elders is calling for me. Not just me, but all the other astronomers will be gathered too. I'm afraid. Have I inadvertently proven such a grotesque truth? Sararak. In the next page, the handwriting is a bit more stable. Beheading punishment. If that statement is true, then this place is definitely not where we should live. I and the other astronomers, along with all members of the Council of Elders, agreed with the king's opinion that all races should ascend together at once. The king is indeed benevolent. He giving the other races an opportunity to preserve their dignity too. Beheading punishment. What does that mean? It seems like Jian Hyang wrote something in the diary that only they knew. Is it some sort of code? I can't tell at the moment. Sararak. I turn the pages again. The youngest at the core formation stage among us astronomers, a naive youngster who couldn't even perform transformation, briefly went to the continent and was captured and killed by a human devilish cultivator. The king chased down that cultivator to reprimand him and retrieve the body. Indeed, humans are all treacherous and unreliable trash. These creatures are best used as livestock. After all, aren't the elixirs made from them the most effective? And the headaches from observing the world's end are also best alleviated by the cores of these livestock. Of course, there will be no need for them for headaches anymore. The reason for headaches when gazing at the world's end was revealed to be due to unintentional eye contact with a great boundary true immortal. Even if it's not the gaze of a true immortal, observing the world's end means continuously witnessing the will of true immortals, so it's natural that the upper dantian is unknowingly under strain. Now, we astronomers have stopped meaningless astronomical observations. Hence, there's no more need for elixirs, and they will be used as emergency medicinal materials. Great boundary true immortal. Suddenly, the folktale book I read to the child in a previous village comes to mind. In the folktale, the sun and moon were depicted as eyes. I continue flipping through the pages. I've been feeling terrible lately. Is it because I've observed such a terrifying fact with my own hands? That fact lingers in my mind and won't leave. The realization that I have been unwittingly making eye contact with an unfathomable entity fills me with deep fear. What was that entity thinking while looking at me? Lately, whenever I recall that fact, it feels like it's driving me insane. It's not just me. I can see that the characters of most of the astronomers are becoming increasingly volatile. They too always seem to have fear written on their faces. Sarek, this is madness. The mad lord, that perverted old monster, attacked the livestock pen. Not only the royal family managing the pen, but also my fellow astronomers who were visiting have been captured by that monster and turned into living puppets. The pen has collapsed and all the livestock have escaped. The king rushed out to pursue the mad lord, but he had already fled. It's so bitter and grievous. All the emergency medicinal materials have run away. Lately we haven't been observing the heavens, so there's no headache, but it's a painfully significant loss. Sarek. The atmosphere has been strange lately. Although it's said that our relationship with Black Ghost Valley has worsened, and we have been in disputes with them, it's unusual how often my fellow astronomers are being attacked or go missing. Starting with the youngest core formation stage astronomer last time, from the attacks by the Mad Lord, it seems like my fellow astronomers are being targeted unusually often. There are quite a few who have disappeared without any apparent reason. It's likely that the elders, who have been unsupportive of the king, and encouraging our astronomical observations while opposing the king's extravagant speculations, are putting us in danger. My fellow astronomers discussed this and decided to inform the king about it. I, as the representative, went to the king to report. The king praised me with a trusting face, saying I did well in speaking up. He assured us of his protection. Especially me, being an exceptional astronomer who directly observed the sun and the moon, he said I would be firmly protected. I am grateful. Thinking about it, since the fact I observed not only affected the astronomers, but also changed the expressions of the heavenly circle elders, it's surprising. Despite such a terrifying truth that should affect everyone regardless of being at the nascent soul or heavenly circle stage, the king always maintains his benevolent smile and gives us faith. As expected, he is our king. Sarek. I turn the next page, and then I see Jian Hyang's handwriting start to shake again in the following entry. What is happening? Among the astronomers, I'm the only one left. All have either disappeared or died in battles with the Black Ghost Valley, at the hands of the Mad Lord, or due to other disasters. The king promised to protect us, yet how has it come to this? I know it's disrespectful, but I can't help but make a terrifying speculation. It's not the elders who oppose the king, but the king himself is orchestrating the disappearance of the astronomers who know the truth. It can't be. He is a benevolent person, I mustn't worry. It's just a needless thought. Sarek. And in the very next entry, the handwriting became completely distorted and oozing with rage. Your Majesty, you are pushing the astronomers who know the truth towards death. I too will soon die. Promising to firmly protect me meant nothing, but to exploit me to the end before killing me. I am going to die. I won't even be able to participate in the ascension. Why are you doing this to us, Your Majesty? Why? Is the truth we know harmful to the Sea Dragon tribe? It might be. It's so terrifying that even the seniors of the heavenly circle stage are sometimes tormented by it. Even we who have reached the nascent soul stage spend sleepless nights. Yes, if it's for the good of the Sea Dragon tribe. If it's for the sake of our tribe, then it can't be helped. Let's accept it. Their handwriting started in anger, but seemed to stabilize as they reconciled their thoughts while writing. Sarek. After accepting my inevitable death, I feel at peace. One must accept that they will one day die. Accepting death, life in fact feels renewed. Things I couldn't see before are now visible. This precious life, the scenery of the Sea Dragon Palace. And then there's Saren, who seems to be ostracized under the king's leadership, just like me. I've recently become close to that child. Perhaps it's a case of shared misery. The child is exceptionally bright. Previously blinded by prejudice regarding race and lineage, now I see the child's intelligence. Quite adorable. If this kid had joined the astronomers, I would have treated him well. The king said he won't take this child on the ascension. Instead, he assigned him the task of liberating the souls of the sea dragon warriors, trapped in the wrecked Nether crossing ship, destroyed in the war with the Mad Lord. Indeed, the king, though stern, truly cares for the sea dragon tribe. Ran, this child too, is pitiable, but it's for the sake of the tribe, so sacrifice is necessary. I too will soon die for the sake of our tribe. The king's demeanor towards me is subtly changing. Perhaps I will die before the ascension gate opens. Jianhyang's diary is nearing its end. Sarawak. And then, when I turn the next page, this is blood. The next page is written in dried blood. Coh. I despise you. All of our sea dragon tribe are being deceived by him. He is not a king, just an ignorant mortal. Ran, I leave this message for you. If you return to the sea dragon palace, read my diary and learn the true nature of Coh. It was all lies. Do not believe anything he has said. He is a madman, more deranged than the Mad Lord, consumed by vengeance, a broken monster. Even to the sea dragon tribe. Ran, he is coming to kill me now. I can't leave a long message. Be sure to read this diary later. Thank you for being my confidant. Sarawak. That is the last page of the diary. Although I don't understand everything, the diary provides many insights. I close Jianhyang's diary. Grotesque form of the world, day and night being an illusion, Coh's true nature. Various truths swirl confusingly in my mind. Even Yuan Li is under the influence of Coh. What does Coh want? Thud. Just when I close the diary. Wriggle. Wriggle, wriggle. Suddenly, the diary began to wriggle. What? I hadn't sensed any presence or spiritual energy infused in it. But why? And then, puff, from between the pages of the diary, a blue hand reaches out and grabs my arms with crushing strength. Kagagugu. Suddenly, I feel a heavy weight all over my body. The heaven and earth spiritual energy around me presses down, pinning me in place. What is this? And then a voice filled with kindness and gentleness, Coh's voice, begins to be heard. Closing this diary means, Ran, that you have survived without using the space-breaking bead and somehow reached the Sea Dragon Palace. Jianhyang thought he hid the diary well in front of me, but unfortunately for him, he didn't. What? Regrettably, Rana, that was the extent of your role. Liberating the souls of the Sea Dragon tribe warriors trapped in the Nether crossing ship was your last utility, and your continued existence is now just an obstacle. So, rest now. Go to your mother and father's side. Crag Trackle. I struggled desperately to break free from Coh's grasp. Just then, Kagagugu. The entire Sea Dragon Palace suddenly begins to tremble. Coh. Translator notes, adding "ah" is like "zio" in Chinese. It's a suffix added to names to denote affection or familiarity, a term of endearment. I made sure to include it to further highlight Coh's hypocrisy and heartlessness. It's a term used in Buddhism and Taoism to describe someone that is not spiritually enlightened, in contrast to the sages and those with spiritual understanding. It means ordinary person, but to fit in the context of the setting and meaning, I translated it as ignorant mortal. / ********. Discord https://dsc.gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 118. What you trampled on the path you have tread 6. Discord translating novice. Bang. I immediately kick through the hall and rush out. PSSHD. The blue arm that sprung from the book and had been holding me, now enveloped in a faint aura, scatters into the air. However, the transformation happening throughout the Sea Dragon Palace does not cease. The lingering will of the Sea Dragon King. In terms of power, it's far less than the remnant soul of Song Jin, but it's still the remnant consciousness of the Sea Dragon King. Such an insignificant thing is now spreading throughout the Sea Dragon Palace, awakening the heaven and earth spiritual energy everywhere. And then, boom, boom, boom. The halls of the Sea Dragon Palace begin to burst open one by one. Numerous artifacts and Dharma treasures from inside the halls burst forth, shining in the air. Flash. In an instant, everything around is bathed in the light emitted by the countless treasures of the Sea Dragon Palace. This is... Senior, what's happening here? Seo Ran, transformed into a dragon, flies towards me. I, sweating profusely, watch the unfolding events. Taoist Seo. Yes, senior. Let's run. Kagagugu. The blue water attribute Dharma treasures gathered together, absorbing Seo Hrial's lingering consciousness. The lights from the treasures flicker and form a giant blue dragon, resembling Seo Hrial. Quagwigwang. The dragon, formed from the combined Dharma treasures, begins to rampage. This is madness. Kagagugu. The sea dragon palace is swept away by the dragon's thrashing. The power of the gathered Dharma treasures, combined with the remnants of a heavenly being's consciousness, is far stronger than Song Jin without his Dharma treasures. Its power is immensely close to that of a nascent soul. But the real problem isn't that. Senior, it's coming. Fweeing. The dragon swings its tail towards us. Quagwegwa. A tremendous trail of destruction is left, but the real danger comes afterwards. Clicking. From the scales of the dragon's tail, one of the small Dharma treasures remained even after the tail swung away. Damn it. Flash. The treasure wrapped in blue light scatters brilliance. Quang. The Dharma treasure self-destructed. I shield Seo Ran from the blast, pushing the explosion away. My hands tingle. My body's already in bad shape from using endless mountains beyond mountains to break the seal. Each time I block a self-destructing Dharma treasure, my arms tremble more. We need to escape, but we're surrounded. We are surrounded by the Dragon Palace's seal, and the hole we used to enter is now blocked by the dragon made of Dharma treasures, making approach difficult. As if this isn't annoying enough, the treasures are self-destructing one by one. Seeing that we were not visibly harmed, the dragon started to self-destruct more of its Dharma treasures. Can't we do something about those self-destructing treasures? It's impossible besides. Seo Ran's face darkened. The dragon, as it fights us, is drawing more power from the Dharma treasures, turning brighter. True to his words, the more the dragon fights us, the more the Dharma treasures comprising its body glow with blue light. When it becomes completely bright, the entire dragon will self-destruct. Crunch. I grip my teeth at the absurd situation. Seo Hrial. Whether his target is Seo Ran or not. In any case, the plan to confront Yuan Li here and push forward with using Dharma treasures has completely fallen apart. Whoosh! The figure of the blue dragon continues to brighten. At this rate, it's uncertain when it will suddenly explode. Just then, boom! One side of the seal trembles, and the dark prow of a decayed ship emerges from beyond the formation. It's the Nether crossing ship. Activate! The teleportation array starts activating, and we barely manage to escape the blue dragon's thrashing, flying up into the Nether crossing ship. Roar! The blue dragon roars, and its body becomes incandescent. That massive body, it's going to self-destruct. At the same time, the teleportation array attempts to begin spatial transfer. The Nether crossing ship is engulfed in the void and rushes through space, and we escape from the Sea Dragon Palace as it is enveloped in blue light for the last time. I came because my disciple sent a distress signal. In the end, the Dharma treasures in the Sea Dragon Palace all transformed into the shape of the blue dragon and self-destructed. Is that it? Song Jin presses his temples with his fingers. So there's no gain at all. Both Seo Ran and Song Jin look downcast. I show them the diary of Jian Hyang that I managed to save in the chaos. During the chaos, I managed to save this. When the diary was closed, the residual consciousness left by Seo Hrial in the diary activated, causing that commotion. Indeed, I can feel Seo Hrial's consciousness embedded in it. If certain conditions are met, his consciousness activates and delivers predetermined instructions. He is indeed a meticulous man. In the case of Seo Ran destroying the Nether crossing ship and accidentally surviving, reaching the Sea Dragon Palace. Even then, Seo Hrial made sure Seo Ran would be killed. Is there a reason why Seo Ran must be killed to this extent? Then, is there anything else left in this book? I asked Song Jin if there are any traps or backhands left. From my perspective, there doesn't seem to be anything else. I nod and hand it over to Seo Ran. For future cycles, it's better to bring the diary to Song Jin first before casually opening it. Whether it's Seo Hrial's consciousness or whatever, what's the harm in feeding the remaining remnant consciousness to the Nether crossing ship? This is the diary of Jian Hyang, an astronomer of the Sea Dragon tribe. Take a look, it seems that they left it for you to read, Taoist Seo. Ah, the diary of the elder. Seo Ran was startled and quickly received the diary. While he was reading the diary, the Nether crossing ship already returned to its original place in the Black Wind Sea. This must be the extent of our gains this time. With an explosion of that magnitude, not only the other pavilions but also the spiritual elixirs and plants remaining in the Sea Dragon Palace would have turned into dust. Right now that I think about it, I asked Song Jin about the structure of the Sea Dragon Palace and the ritualistic formation I had seen. So, do you know anything about the spell formation that's in the Sea Dragon Palace? I'm not sure exactly what formation you're talking about. Song Jin strokes his chin and tilts his head. At his question, Seo Ran, who had been frantically reading the diary, momentarily looks up and forms a hand seal. Whoosh! In front of us, spiritual energy forms and takes the shape of the spell formation I saw. When Seo Ran infuses his power into it, the spell formation activates, and I feel my consciousness clear and awake. This is the formation Senior Seo is talking about, Master. Ah, this one. It's different from the Black Ghost Valley, so I wondered what it was. Song Jin seems to recognize it. Seo Ran focuses back on the diary, and Song Jin observes the spell formation in front of him. A spell that awakens the upper Danshan, expressed using the demon race's spell formation. That is what this formation is. Upper Danshan, awakening. The Sea Dragon tribe and the Black Ghost Valley have been competing for dominance over the Great Sea for tens of thousands of years, influencing each other's spells to some extent. And one of them is whoosh. Energy emits from the tips of Song Jin's fingers, heading towards his Beihui point. This spell of awakening here. The energy entering the Beihui point seems to rotate inside Song Jin's skull, and after a while, it shoots out from his forehead. What is this? I have seen this spell before. Previously, when White Bone Ghost Devil Heo Guak forced team leader Kim's consciousness to awaken, they used this technique. It was also very similar to the technique used by the Jin clan to amplify talent by infusing souls into the upper Danshan. I remember, even Kim Hyung used the ignition of the upper Danshan, starting from the Beihui and leading the flow of pure spiritual force through the forehead, burning it up. The flow is exactly the same. I don't know Seo Atrial's true intentions, but outwardly, he was always a gentle and righteous leader, always wanting the Sea Dragon tribe to maintain a clear mind. So, using the structure of the Sea Dragon Palace itself to spread the spell of awakening wouldn't be strange. Then why did he spread that awakening spell in the hidden layers of the Serving Command Palace? I also told Song Jin about what Seo Atrial had done. Maybe if it's him, he might think of something. But Song Jin shook his head, indicating he couldn't recall anything after hearing my words. Strange, why in the Serving Command Palace's control room? Control room. Yes, the hidden layer your group entered is the Serving Command Palace's control room. If you place the Serving Command seal on the platform made for it, it allows control over the Serving Command Palace through that seal. This is new information. So, he spread the spell of awakening in the control room because I can't even guess his intentions. What was his goal? While I ponder, Seo Ran, having finished reading the diary of Ji Hyung, wears a bitter smile on his extremely darkened face. Fortunately, no more blue hands sprang out of the diary after the previous incident, suggesting Seo Atrial's tricks had ended. I really grew up abandoned by everyone, except for Elder Ji Hyung, who finally opened his heart to me. His face is a mix of unmistakable pain. That expression resembles. Was it when he committed suicide using the space-breaking bead? I don't know what my purpose in living is anymore. I look at him with pained eyes. In the past, I would have tried to comfort him or consider his feelings to lessen his pain. But honestly, I don't feel much of anything now. Only a slight sense of shared misery arose when he showed his painful thoughts. How did I used to comfort others? I can't remember how to do anything with a warm heart. I can't recall what my heart used to feel like. Maybe I did it like this. But still, knowing that Seo Ran's suicide would make things even more depressing, I managed to recall enough to comfort him. Don't worry, Taoist Seo, you have truly formed a master-disciple bond now, haven't you? There's still someone who cares about you, find your meaning in that. Is that so? My words seemed to lift some of the shadows from Seo Ran's face. Thank you. I receive his thanks and look back at Song Jin with dull eyes. In any case, we are back to square one. So, in the end we got nothing, but could you help me using my last favor? Hey, Song Jin sighs deeply. All right, I didn't want to put my disciple in danger, but in 200 years, I'll make him reach core formation and help you. Of course, I'll help too. Thank you. Thus, while we didn't gain much material aid from the Sea Dragon Palace, I obtained a lot of precious information and a firm promise of assistance from Song Jin. After receiving his promise, I left the Black Wind Sea. And then 10 years passed. In that time, with the Qing Mun clan, I collected both the formation artifacts and the longevity fruits. Now, the day of the great conference with all the core formation cultivators of the continent gathering is approaching. Swoosh! I fly rapidly across the northern grasslands. It should be around here. Holding the invitation plaque, I sense the spiritual energy around me. And then, after a while, whoosh! I sense an area hidden behind a formation in the distance. Thump! It's a place covered by an illusion formation, invisible to the eye. But when I bring the plaque near it, the formation shines, opening a path for me. I enter through the path through the formation. This place is true to the northern grasslands. There are numerous white tents set up inside formation. These tents, befitting cultivators, are adorned with many spell runes, and I can feel the presence of core formation cultivators inside. You've arrived, cultivator CEO. From a distance, Chengmun Yongjin approaches me with a welcoming expression. I nod in response. You're as you were. He looks at my expression, and his face turns bitter. I can't help it. I can't remember how to smile, and my eyes remain dull. I have forgotten how to wear any expression other than this vacant one. Just then, another person crosses over the formation. An old man in gray robes. It's Woryang. He too has the same face as 10 years ago, although different from mine. A deeply angry expression. We make eye contact and nod to each other in simple greetings. As we are about to enter the largest tent, designated as the conference hall. Wait, you. Woryang points at me and speaks. His voice seems to tremble. That thing at your waist, why do you have it? I look at Hyang Hua's remnant at my waist, the Jade Norgi. It's the heirloom of my beloved. What, that's, my great-grandson used to wear that. I suddenly realize, absurdly, the fate of Buck Hyang Hwa. Her fated partner was Woryang's great-grandson, already devoured by Yuan Li before my point of return. // Discord https://dsc.gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 119. What you trampled on the path you have tread 7. Discord translating novice. I see. That was an item my granddaughter-in-law brought when she married into the family. My grandson was from the Grasslands tribe, but his wife was from Byokra. When they had my great-grandson, she gifted the child a norgi. Now that I think about it. Woryang and I are talking in front of the tent. The world is indeed small. To meet such a connection in such a place. My granddaughter-in-law wished for her friend's child to be matched with my great-grandson, but my great-grandson chose a suitable partner for himself and got married without being bound by that promise. I listened quietly to his story. As my great-grandson got married and he and his wife were living happily, Yuan Li, that bastard, one day he attacked the child's tribe. Krghh. Woryang grinds his teeth, his intent seething with anger. Everyone died, and my great-grandson vanished, leaving only his lower body behind. He always carried the norgi his mother had given him. I will definitely reclaim my great-grandson's upper body from that devil. Upper body. There seemed to be a certain fate at play. Buck Hyang Hwa lost her lower body, and her fated partner, the upper body, both devoured by Yuan Li. Amidst my thoughts, I grind my teeth next to the old man. Why must the tyranny of the powerful bring despair and pain to others? Me and this man as well. Everyone suffered unbearable pain and lost something precious to Yuan Li. I think to myself, does he have anything precious? It's unknown. Can someone who holds something precious so ruthlessly take away others, without a second thought? I became lost deep in my thoughts, and Woryang continued to curse Yuan Li endlessly. And then, after a while, All core formation cultivators from the entire continent gathered, and the Grand Council began. Inside the tent, space compression was applied. There are about 200 core formation cultivators. This number includes members from minor clans and secluded cultivators who hadn't been contacted previously, as well as those from ostracized powers, which are about 50 more than last time. Around 200 core formation cultivators. This is the last force left in this world. Then, let's commence the Grand Council regarding the war against the old monster Yuan Li, who caused the heaven-treading desert massacre. Chengmun Yongjin stood up and addressed the assembly. The decision was made that Chengmun Yongjin is the most suitable leader for this alliance, probably greatly influenced by the fact that he is a descendant of Azure T. Saint. The meeting began. Various factions presented different plans to counter Yuan Li. Chengmun Yongjin listened to and organized these ideas. And when no more suggestions came forth, he spoke. Now, let me share the plan concluded by the Chengmun clan. Shortly after, he began discussing the serving command palace and the strategy of lowering Yuan Li's cultivation from nascent soul to core formation. Are you suggesting we lower the old monster's nascent soul cultivation to core formation level? That's right. We have also confirmed that most of the treasures inside the palace were taken by the heavenly being cultivators, but... He continued his explanation. We found some items still inside the palace, including certain types of immortal liquor and talismans, as well as miscellaneous items. What kind of miscellaneous items? Items like a bamboo pipe that helps in infusing enlightenment into demon beasts, a slightly more sturdy storage bag, a needle that repairs clothes automatically, a ring that aids in digesting food. Such ambiguous items. The core formation cultivators, who momentarily harbored hopes, were visibly disappointed and disheartened by his words. Both the liquor and talismans are ancient cultivator treasures, so they're useful, but aren't they both single-use only? Correct. We found only a few bottles of liquor that temporarily enhance abilities and a few kinds of talismans that allow the use of unique techniques for a short time. If they are single-use, they're basically table scraps. Useful, but... It was then. The head of the Byok clan, Byok Chinjis' eyes flashed and asked, "Talismans, did you say talismans?" "Yes, that's right. Did you, by any chance, check what kind of talismans are remaining?" "I didn't check in detail." Byok Chingi chuckles and pulls something out of his robe. Last time Serving Command Palace was open, our Byok clan was also able to secure a few things from there. One of them was this. That is... Whoosh! What Byok Chingi produced from his robe were two shining talismans, exuding a divine light. Heaven-striking talisman, a talisman that can replicate the strike of a heavenly being cultivator once. Heaven-sealing talisman, a talisman that temporarily wraps the defense of a heavenly being cultivator around oneself. We obtained these two talismans in the last visit to Serving Command Palace. Heavenly being. Yes, with this heaven-striking talisman, if it hits, it's possible to turn that bastard into a pulp with one strike. He continued. The heavenly being seniors already have the defensive and offensive capabilities of that level, so they didn't need it, so there must certainly be heaven-sealing talismans remaining in Serving Command Palace. And he smirked. As you said, if we lure that bastard into Serving Command Palace to lower his cultivation, and then use the heaven-sealing talisman to defend, and the heaven-striking talisman to attack the old monster. A glimmer of hope appeared on the faces of Chengmun Yongjin and the others. I, too, felt a rare sense of joy at the prospect of killing Yuan Li. We can hunt that bastard. Well, I was originally thinking of a different plan, but it seems it needs to be revised. Hello? Chengmun Yongjin points at me. Cultivator CO over here is unaffected by the restraining formation of Serving Command Palace, even when it's activated. Therefore, he can maintain core formation level strength continuously and face Yuan Li one-on-one as he falls to core formation level. Byok Chingi looks at me in amazement, and various emotions appear on the faces of the numerous cultivators present. Byok Chingi says, "How about our Byok clan and this fellow take the lead in facing the old monster, while the other cultivators provide support from the rear? Wait, our eastern states also have excellent decisive weapons effective against nascent soul cultivators. Our northern grassland tribes also have famous formations effective against nascent soul cultivators. Nascent soul cultivators are certainly formidable beings, and the wealth they had accumulated over hundreds of years, including Dharma treasures, spirit stones, and elixirs, are far greater than that of core formation cultivators. Perhaps because of this, the core formation cultivators gathered here were already scheming among themselves to divide up the spoils as much as possible. Of course, I have no interest in such petty squabbles over gains. Excluding the serving command palace plan, the methods proposed by the others are all bound to fail, because even 200 years later, Yuan Li was alive and well. Especially the heaven-sealing talisman and heaven-striking talisman, boasting the power of the heavenly being stage. Why was Yuan Li so unscathed in my past life, despite the existence of such terrifying talisman? Of course, this life introduced the variable of the serving command palace plan. So maybe it's possible to hunt him. But that alone is not enough. He must be killed. Absolutely. If I don't tear him apart in this cycle, I can't console the souls of those who died in this life. After the meeting ended and various cultivators were chattering, I approached Chengmun Yungjin and whispered another plan. Please keep this plan confidential. I will proceed with it alone. What are you talking about? No, more importantly, is this true? It's true. If it's this, even for a nascent soul cultivator, it would be difficult, right? Of course. No matter how mighty a nascent soul cultivator is, that is not an easy power to contend with. I nod. Besides simply trapping him and serving command palace, a few more plans are needed. To ensure his death. The first conference ended satisfactorily. Practically all future plans were also decided in this conference. From now on, it's just a matter of moving according to the plan. I acted along with the others, starting the task of scraping together the remaining treasures of serving command palace using the nether crossing ship, along with some formation masters and artisan masters. Zing! The formations sealing the treasures of serving command palace were released by the artisans and formation masters, and the items inside were brought out. These miscellaneous items are really of no use. They seem to be mostly for decoration or show. Actually, the liquors and talismans seem more useful. The core formation cultivators who came with me also clicked their tongues at the useless miscellaneous items. Each one was a peculiar Dharma treasure or magic artifact, so there was no particular greed for them. Only the Byok clan, known for rearing demon beasts, showed some interest in the pipe that infuses enlightenment into beasts, but that was all. Then, let's also release the formations on the liquors and talismans. We succeeded in retrieving talismans and liquors from the serving command palace's treasury, with the cooperation of core formation cultivators, formation masters, and artisan masters. Among the talismans, there are 2 heaven-sealing talismans, which grant defensive capability equivalent to that of a heavenly being cultivator. 1 crimson bird talisman that traps the enemy in a formation maze, and 1 transforming demon talisman that allows instantaneous transformation into a demon beast. There were a few more talismans, but they were just ordinary core formation-level talismans sold in markets, with no significant utility. There are quite a few liquors. Talismans are very useful, but liquors take up more space and are often single-use, granting temporary abilities, so they weren't taken as much. The artisans and formation masters brought by the core formation cultivators classified the immortal liquors and explained them to us. The liquors were roughly divided into 3 types. Immortal liquors that enhance physical abilities like regeneration, speed, defense, and strength for a short period, such as spirit nectar, heavenly heart water, moon spirit liquor, and lower immortal liquor. Immortal liquors that enhance abilities not related to physical strength, for example strengthening the connection with or enhancing Dharma treasures within the body, or improving the ability to handle external objects, such as Dream Lotus Elixir, True Moon Dew, White Red Wine, Mysterious Flame Jade, and True Dew Liquor. Purely recreational liquors that improve mood and clarity of consciousness just by smelling them, like Red Plum Liquor, Whole Heart Liquor, Fringe Fragrance, and Purple Jade Liquor. Chengmun Yongjin, looking at the liquors, spoke. These types of immortal liquor will be distributed before the decisive battle to amplify abilities. He looks at me and Byok Chengi, who followed us here. Especially Cultivator Seo, Cultivator Byok, and Eastern Lord Manly Minlap, who will confront the old monster head-on, will be given the most varieties of immortal liquors. Understood. Among them, Cultivator CEO and Lord Manly will play the role of hindering the old monster in the early stages, so they will be given the most liquors and talismans. Keep that in mind. Lord Manly Minlap of the Eastern States gratefully thanks Chungmun Yungjin, and I nod with a weary face. Thus, the few remaining treasures, immortal liquors and talismans inside the serving command palace, as well as other consumables, were all retrieved and planned for distribution. The plan to confront Yuan Li is almost finalized, and all clans, tribes, and states are exerting their full efforts to nurture new core formation cultivators. All that is left is for time to pass. During the remaining time, I need to cultivate. There are still 200 years left. Within that time, I plan to enter Qi building great perfection through the advanced practice of the Yin Soul Ghost incantation. But with the current state of the Yin Soul Ghost incantation, I will likely surpass the great perfection and still have time to spare. Then what remains is to find a place to cultivate. After some thought, I decided on a location for my cultivation. And so time flows on. In a blink of an eye, 200 years have passed. Whoosh! In the mountainous regions of Shengzi, 3 streaks of dim light soar above. They are 3 core formation cultivators using the flying escape technique. So young noble Byok, the cultivator we're visiting, is training in his cave. That's right, I've heard he's practicing curse-related techniques, so be prepared for the eerie aura. Creepy, training curse methods in his lone dark cave. Mind your words, did the clan head and elders not say he's key in hunting the old monster? HMPH, I respect the clan head for his authority, but we are core formation cultivators now. How long should we heed the words of those old folks? Young noble Byok, how about enjoying the scenery of the city before we arrive? Byok Munseong, the core formation cultivator from the Byok clan, frowns. The 2 beautiful cultivators chattering beside him seem to enjoy flirting with him, but Byok Munseong isn't interested. Foolish beyond measure, we've become core formation cultivators thanks to the unprecedented support from our clans, to dismiss the elders who reached this level through their own skill. Byok Munseong is well aware of his limitations. Even in the past, he would have had to use all his allotted 300 years in the Qi building stage to barely reach core formation. Indeed, no one is as wise and virtuous as her. With a bittersweet smile, Byok Munseong flies with the 2 cultivators towards a village in the mountainous area of Shengzi. Flash! As the 3 streaks of light hover above the village, villagers came out buzzing with curiosity. Byok Munseong looked down at them and spoke. Is there a large centipede's cave nearby? Where is it located? The village elder approaches Byok Munseong, kneels respectfully, and replies. I'm not sure about a centipede's cave, but there's a place called Darkened Cave beyond that ridge. Legend has it that a centipede demon lived there 200 years ago. Thank you. Byok Munseong didn't wait to hear more from the village elder. He flew in the direction the elder pointed to. Crossing the ridge, he sees a large cave on a rugged mountainside. Dark, ominous shadows are constantly seeping out of the cave. Curse methods. Byok Munseong swallows hard at the chilling aura. Is every tendril of darkness leaking from there a curse spell? The 2 women who followed Byok Munseong also noticed the cave on the mountainside. That must be the infamous. SHH, don't attract a curse by speaking carelessly. Oh right, my apologies. Byok Munseong glances back at the duo, then approaches the cave. He respectfully performs a fist and palm salute and calls out. It's been a long time, Cultivator CEO. The time for the old monster to be released is nearing. A flicker of killing intent briefly crosses Byok Munseong's eyes. It's time for her revenge, please come out. Kagagugugu. From the cave's depths, sinister shadows began to emerge. Translator notes, guys, we managed to avoid 1 rip, but there's no transliteration for Manly Minlap. \\\\\asterisk. Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 120, What You Trampled on the Path You Have Tread 9. Discord translating novice. Thud thud. From deep within the cave, something walks out. Gulp. As it emerges, the surrounding curses grow denser. Eventually, Byok Munseong ascends into the air, rising upwards. Rumble, rumble. Darkness. A dense dome of darkness surrounds it. Byok Munseong, amidst the darkness, watches thousands of writhing curses and greets the entity. The two cultivators who have been chatting heedlessly also send their greetings following Byok Munseong. Long time no see, cultivator CEO. Byok Munseong greeted him again, sizing up his cultivation. Chi building, 4th constellation. Horn neck root, room heart tail winnowing basket. Ladle ox girl emptiness rooftop chamber wall. Leg bond stomach hairy head net beak triple star. Well ghost. He felt the energies of 23 spiritual energy stars of the 4 constellations. Byok Munseong felt the flow of pure spiritual force at the center of the curses and looked at him. Just chi building 4th constellation, but the strength of grand perfection, those terrifying curses. Even though I have not been at core formation for long, I don't feel like I can win. Typically, curse sorcerers who practice curse methods handle 30-40 curse spells, up to 60 or 70 in some cases. In exceptional cases, more than 90. But what about him? It looks like thousands at a glance. It means he is hundreds of times more skilled than the typical curse sorcerer. Being hundreds of times more skilled at the chi-building grand perfection stage meant his power is virtually no different from core formation. Byok Munseong continues to speak towards the dark dome of curses. As I said, it's time for the old monstrel to wake up. I know. A rough voice echoes from the dark center. The voice is dark, unlike a human's, with an eerie effect that intimidates the listener. Hurry up, lead the way. Yes, understood. Then it happens. Wait, aren't you a bit too commanding, even considering everything? One of the cultivators who followed Byok Munseong spoke towards the dark dome. We came to visit, yet you talk without showing your face. Your cultivation seems only to be at chi building, so is it right to be so disrespectful to us, core formation cultivators? Miss Gongmyo. Byok Munseong, with a pale face, tries to stop the cultivator from the Gongmyo clan. But Miss Gongmyo is unrelenting. They say you're a madman, wandering the mountainous regions of Byokra in the dark, watching fan dances, and suddenly screaming and rampaging. I would understand if you were really insane, but since you can talk. Quiet, please. Just then, Kagagagugu. From the black dome, a massive dark curse spells begin pouring towards her. Swoosh. The massive curses transform into a giant black hand, reaching out as if to engulf her. Ika. The woman from the Gongmyo clan frowns, forming a seal to deploy a defensive spell. A blue sphere blocks the black hand. What is this madness, you? And as she is about to express her anger, the protective shield touched by the black hand begins to decay and crumble. What? Miss Gongmyo used the holy concentration talisman. At Byok Munseong's shout, she takes out a talisman. And at that moment the black hand strikes her. Boom! She's sent flying by the black hand, crashing into the opposite hillside. A cloud of dust billows. Wait, you crazy, what are you doing to Gongmyo Unnai? Miss Jin, stay calm, I'll resolve this through conversation. Young noble Byok, stay put, don't underestimate the Jin clan. As she forms her hand seals with a vigorous motion, thousands of fire pellets appear around her, filling all directions. Burn that insolent shadow to ashes, go. With a roaring sound, the fire pellets begin to move in unison. However, rain, Shia, collide, Chua Jua 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 Jua. From within the black domain, hundreds of curse spells fly towards her like arrows with incredible speed. The curse spells explode the fire pellets, causing a massive explosion, and a few pass by her body. Whist! A small droplet of blood drops from her cheek. How dare you, just a chi-building stage. However, the entity within the black mass clicks its tongue. It's over. What nonsense! I haven't even shown my true power yet. Watch, I'll show you the magical arts of Jin clan's fiery silk flame heat wave. Hua! Around her, flames resembling silky drapes begin to flicker. The heat from the flaming silks soar infinitely, drying up the moisture in the surrounding terrain. But the entity within the darkness remains silent. Instead, with a hand seal, a clay figure rises from below. Silently. Then a curse spell floats in the air. There is a drop of blood on the curse spell. Take this. Simultaneously, the Jin clan cultivator unleashes her spell, while the entity within the black domain flicks their finger, moving the blood-stained curse spell over the clay figure to be absorbed. And that was it. Fizz. What? Why hesitate? Go ahead, attack. She stands dumbfounded for a moment, then looks at the clay figure. The curses, transformed and embedded in every corner of the clay figure's body, are situated precisely at the spiritual meridians used for casting spells. You can't do it. Silently, the figure within the black sphere forms another hand seal, and red ink appears on the neck of the clay figure. In the next moment, she feels a strange sensation and converges a mirror to look at her own neck. What? The same mark with red ink appeared on her neck, just like on the clay figure. To allow blood to curse sorcerer, how naive. What do you think will happen if I strike this neck? She stands in shock, trembling like a leaf in terror. The trickle of blood from her cheek flows steadily. Though it was just a very thin cut, the blood strangely wouldn't stop. Swoosh! Suddenly, the sound of a sword being unsheathed echoes from within the darkness. Step, step. And then the black figure approaches the clay figure. And no, don't do that. Anticipating her fate, she pleads with a pale face. Just then, that's enough, cultivator Seo. Byok Munseong appears, standing between the clay figure and Seo Yun Hyan. It's not right for allies to fight among themselves, especially when the day to capture the old monster is approaching. So be it. Snap. As he speaks, he snaps his finger, and the Jin clan cultivator sees the curse spells that had penetrated her cheek and body being expelled and returning to the Black Dome. The same happens to her friend from the Gongmyo clan, as black curses emerge from her body. Only then did they look at the person in front of them. Being at Chi building did not mean they are the same. He just hasn't reached core formation yet. His power is essentially no different from core formation. This is the decisive weapon to fight against the nascent soul old monster. She closes her mouth and approaches the Gongmyo clan cultivator. Kyu Kug, the woman from the Gongmyo clan, is holding a talisman imbued with the power of blessings in her hand. The power of blessings seemed to neutralize the curse, preventing her body from decaying instantly from the single strike, but she appears to have sustained some internal injuries. Then let's go. Whoosh! Scattering dark curse spells, Seo Yun Hyan moves from within the curses. He hides in the darkness and flies away into the sky. Byok Munseong, after glancing at the women for a moment, extends a purification talisman and healing talisman to them. Even though cultivator Seo has retracted the curses, use the purification talisman to draw out the curse's poison once more before healing. His curses are especially toxic, and one can suffer severe aftereffects if they assume it's safe just because the curse is gone. Thank you, young noble Byok. Hala and Byok Munseong frowns slightly and warns the two women. Since both of you are injured like this, I recommend not participating in the battle against the nascent soul old monster. It'd be instant death, and you'd only serve as a snack for that nascent soul devil. Byok Munseong swallowed his last words and turned around. Suddenly, something sparkling catches his eye in the depths of the cave from which Seo Yun Hyan had emerged. That is... Drawn to the sparkling object, Byok Munseong approaches it. It's a glass sculpture. The delicately crafted glass sculpture depicts a pair of a man and a woman dancing with fans. While the man's face is not clear, the woman's face is crafted so meticulously that one can almost recognize her. Byok Munseong stares at the glass sculpture, especially at the woman, with an indescribably complex expression. After a moment of contemplation, he picks up the sculpture, stores it in his storage bag, and leaves the cave to pursue Seo Yun Hyan. Kagagagugugu. Eastern Byokra, the land where a city named Chinsik City stood 200 years ago. There a dark shadow descends. Step, step. The shadow steps on the land, now turned into a sandy beach. It's been a long time, everyone. Seo Yun Hyan, the shadow, looks around with a bitter voice. The graves he made, the glass swords, all of them, buried under the sand over the long years, have lost their original forms. In about a month, the time will come. To keep my promise from that day, I will definitely give it my all. After gazing at the sand for a while, he forms a hand seal. Whoosh! Curse spells seep from his body, scattering a dark windstorm in all directions. The massive storm scatters the sand of Chinsik City, blowing it around. Shortly after, below the sand, there a graveyard with numerous worn glass swords reveals itself. Some of the 200-year-old buildings are still sporadically standing. Among the buildings, Seo Yun Hyan walks towards the workshop of Buk Hyang Hwa, still maintaining most of its original structure. This place is also about to collapse with no one to maintain it. The workshop barely held its shape, on the verge of collapsing. Perhaps it would crumble with just a slight touch from Seo Yun-hyan. He looks around. Coming back later to dig through the sand would be absurd. He takes out flags and magic artifacts from his possession. These are the magic artifacts he had bought at the Spirit Path conference before coming here. Shake, shake, shake. Thump, thump, thump. The flags and magic artifacts fly in all directions, embedding themselves into the ground, preventing the sandstorm from covering the graveyard. It's just a formation with the sole purpose to block the sandstorm. Nothing more, nothing less. Seo Yun-hyan looks at the set formation and surveys the surroundings. The glass swords he had made are all broken and crumbled, with not many maintaining their shape. Out of the thousands he made, only about 5,000 remain in any recognizable form. Whoosh! Using sword control, Seo Yun-hyan selects 3,000 intact glass swords. I'm sorry to come to you in this state. I need your strength, please understand. It isn't just Buck Hyung-hwa. The neighbors who blessed us, me and her. Every life, every connection that lived in this city. They are all precious to me. Therefore, this revenge cannot be completed by my hands alone. It must be done with everyone's strength. Seo Yun-hyan pulls the swords embedded in their graves towards him. The Dharma treasure, the colorless glass sword, is a magic artifact treated as a set of 3,000 flying swords. Seo Yun-hyan takes out the blueprint left by Buck Hyung-hwa for the colorless glass sword. The method to make the colorless glass sword is simple. Make 3,000 flying swords out of glass. Carve a simple spiritual energy circuit on each glass sword. However, the circuit on each sword must be slightly different. The slight variations follow a set of rules established by Buck Hyung-hwa, and it's enough to just slightly adjust the direction of the circuits according to those rules. Day and night changes rapidly. Seo Yun-hyan successfully engraved all the spiritual energy circuits on the 3,000 worn glass swords. After engraving a single spiritual energy circuit on each of the 3,000 swords, Seo Yun-hyan added 1 or 2 basic incantation scripts that are usually added onto Dharma treasures for each, then infused them with spiritual power. Whoosh! Thus, the colorless glass sword recognized him as their master. A truly, maddeningly simple refining process. The materials are easy to acquire, and the refining method is simple. For testing the formless sword with it, Seo Yun-hyan decides to test its power in front of Yuan Li. After all, it's meant to cut his neck. There is no way she would have made it with insufficient power. After looking at the completed colorless glass swords, he continues to verify with the blueprint she left behind. It's completed without any issues. Russell. Then Seo Yun-hyan reads the words written at the bottom of the blueprint. Words he had read numerous times before coming here. Words she left for him. Oriboni, the colorless glass sword is a set of 3,000 as a Dharma treasure. It might seem like a lot, but seeing how you handle flying swords, I thought you can definitely manage it. Did you know? Originally, the number for the colorless glass sword wasn't 3,000 but 3,650. Did you know that yesterday marked exactly 10 years since you came to Chinsik City? The colorless glass sword is made to commemorate that. A Dharma treasure made to commemorate each day you spent here. However, I left the remaining 650 sets incomplete on purpose, hoping we could design and create them together, so I made it operate only with 3,000 sets. It's still incomplete, so I hope we can finish it together in the future. Will you tell me your answer? Chig chig. Black tears drop one by one from Seo Yun-hyan's face covered in the shadows. The fallen tears scatter into curse spells, corroding the sand. Hiss. The sand beneath Seo Yun-hyan begins to corrode wildly. The curse spells surrounding him grow denser. I will carry this in my heart. I will complete it. Seo Yun-hyan looks at Buck Hyung-hwa's grave. I will be back. And then he leaves the grounds of Chinsik City with the 3,000 set colorless glass sword. Whoosh! As he walks through the air after leaving Chinsik City, his eyes catch someone. It's Byok Munseong, riding on a flying sword Dharma treasure. What is it? I was waiting for you. The head of my clan tasked me with escorting you. Sorrow is a deep blue color. Your consciousness is also deep blue. But you weren't waiting for me. You were mourning for her, weren't you? Byok Munseong did not respond, only turning his head away. After this war ends, Seo Yunhyan speaks to Byok Munseong. Let's go together and mourn her together. Let's go quickly. Yes. The two men fly towards the center of the heaven-treading desert, toward the sealing place of Yuan Li. The time has come to witness the long-awaited conclusion. Translator notes, extra donated chapter by MJ Spixel. Thanks for the support. / */ Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 121. What you trampled on the path you have tread 9. Discord translating novice. Damn, the weather is annoyingly good. The head of the Gongmyo clan, Gongmyo Ryong, frowns as she looks at the sky. The sky is so clear that celestial energy is distinctly visible just by looking up. And the celestial energy she sees is a great omen of misfortune. Damn it, even if they are green and inexperienced, over 200 core formation cultivators have gathered, bringing all the power accumulated by the numerous clans and factions. Despite our meticulous plan and prepared traps, the celestial energy still shows great misfortune. It can't be helped. Isn't that just how fearsome nascent soul cultivators are? Byok Chungi clicks his tongue as he speaks. In the middle of the heaven-treading desert, at the sealing site of Yuan Li. Around the Black Castle, hundreds of core formation cultivators are positioned. On the outskirts, chi-building cultivators carefully selected from each clan surround the area. Above them are warships, massive Dharma treasures requiring multiple operators, cannons, and battering rams prepared by each force. War Dharma treasures are also abundantly set up. Prepare the yin guiding summoning wind formation for the chi-building cultivators. At the command of Mackley clan head Mackley H. Wangshan, the chi-building cultivators of the Mackley clan began to gather energy at the back with formation flags. Rumble, rumble. Within their formation, terrifying yin energy began to gather, creating a ferocious wind. We of the Jin clan can't be inferior. Prepare the white dragon spreading wings formation and the yang blazing red flame formation. Show who's superior to those Mackley brats. Chi-building cultivators of the Jin clan gathered to form their formation. And within, blood-red fiery flames began to emerge. The flames of the Jin clan, fed by the heat of the scorching heaven-treading desert, grow even larger than the yin wind collected by the Mackley clan. Seeing this, Mackley H. Wangshan's eyes twitch, and an elder of the Mackley clan notices it. The elder of Mackley clan gestures to a lower-ranked elder, who, with a flushed face, turns and shouts. Expand the yin wind larger than the Jin brats. If you properly increase the yin wind, each of you will receive 3 life spirit pills. But if you fall behind them, expect something very interesting to happen. Rumble, rumble. As soon as he finished speaking, the yin wind of Mackley clan shook off the desert's heat and grew even larger. In response, the Jin clan also increased their flames, and both clans competitively enlarged their unique formation methods. Seeing this, Chengmun Yongjin chuckles. Those two clans, when put together, are never boring. Oh my, Chengmun Oriboni speaks the truth. If our two clans join forces, there would indeed never be a dull moment. Jinlu clan head, please choose your words carefully. HMPH, there's still time before serving command palace appears. Can't we relax and chat a bit? Jinlu clan head, Jinlu Yonchen, a voluptuous beauty dressed in a black robe with blue eye makeup, retorts. And how is the union of clans a personal matter? Isn't it a matter of public interest? Oriboni. Yonchen, the heads of the 6 clans of Shengzi are glaring at us. What will you do if internal strife breaks out before the war? HMPH, Ha clan, Geo clan, Jun clan, Yoljin clan, Ori clan, Jiang clan. Even combined, they can't match the Jinlu clan, so what do they know? Let's not talk about such trivial matters, Oriboni. Can't you treat me as you used to? Chengmun Yongjin rubs his forehead as if in pain, then hardens his face and speaks. Jinliu clan head, please return to your position. Think about it, Oriboni. The bloodline of the great Chengmun clan, descended from Azure Tiger Saint Chengmun Sunwu, combined with Jinlu clan, the founding ancestors of Shengzi. Enough, I will not permit further idle talk. As the alliance leader, I order the Jinlu clan head to return to her position. Any further and it will be dealt with as a military matter. HMPH, very well, alliance leader, I hope you think it over. Jinlu Yonchen winks at Chengmun Yongjin and returns to her position with a broad smile. Chengmun Yongjin presses his head as if in pain. Anyway, why isn't Cultivator Seo here yet? He asks Byok Chingi, who had been subtly sticking close to Gongmyo Ryon. Byok clan head, didn't a core formation cultivator of the Byok clan go to fetch Cultivator Seo? All about that. Just then, Kagagugu. From the east of the heaven-treading desert, a shadow enveloped in a mass of darkness flies towards the sealing sight of Yuan Li. Wowung. Dark curse spells burst out in all directions. Within the center of those curse spells, the shadow looks around. It seems I'm not too late. Poof. Following the shadow, Byok Munseong promptly approaches Byok Chingi and greets him respectfully. I greet you, clan head. The mission has been accomplished. Oh, is that so? Well done. Haha, alliance leader. It looks like everyone we were waiting for has arrived. That's right. The shadow wrapped in dark curses, Seo Yunhyan. The Eastern Lord, wrapped in white bandages, Manly Minlap. The confident head of the Byok clan in a blue and white robe, Byok Chingi. The three stepped forward in front of Chengmun Yongjin. You all must be familiar with the plan, so I have nothing specific to tell you. However, I would advise all three of you to keep visualizing the situation in your minds. Understood. Byok Chingi replies, but Seo Yunhyan and Manly Minlap just nod their heads. And also a serving command palace will appear soon, accept this in advance. Chengmun Yongjin hands over storage artifacts to Byok Chingi and Manly Minlap. I have put the liquor in the storage artifacts. Ha, truly immortal liquor. Just drinking it temporarily enhances all sorts of abilities. Byok Chingi admires the liquor inside the storage artifact, and Manly Minlap, without a word, immediately takes out the liquor and drinks it on the spot. Kuang. After drinking all the renowned immortal liquors, Manly Minlap's momentum transforms. Kung. His cultivation seems to surge momentarily, and he takes a deep breath. Good, it's only for a short time, but... Then Byok clan head. I'll drink mine before activating the heaven-striking talisman. Do as you wish. Chengmun Yongjin's gaze turns to Seo Yunhyan. Cultivator Seo, are you drinking it now? Seo Yunhyan, within the curse spells, nods his head. I've been drinking while waiting. Let's hope the plan proceeds well. Chengmun Yongjin finishes speaking and gathers his energy with a solemn expression. Then he looks up at the sky. All the core formation and chi-building cultivators present are looking up at the sky. Seo Yunhyan gazes not at the sky, but at Yuan Li's castle. Manly Minlap takes out a large cannon from his storage artifact and begins inserting spirit stones into the back of it. Byok Chingi infuses his energy into the heaven-striking talisman. While everyone is calculating the celestial energy and timing while looking up at the sky. It's time. Gongmyo Ryon shouts loudly. Liberation Palace. One of the Eastern Lords mutters in a low voice. Serving Command Palace appears. One of the tribal chiefs from the northern grassland hardens their face. Kagagugu. The void distorts and a cylindrical palace, drifting through another dimension, enters the physical realm. Kagagugu. Simultaneously, numerous cultivators present feel the surrounding heaven and earth energy shift. The energy of liberation. What is blocked opens up. What is sealed is released. The being confined is set free. The one sleeping awakens. Krieg, Krieg, Krieg. Gongmyo clan's secret formation. The 8 trigram spirit absorbing sealing formation that connected and sealed the nearby dragon veins. Within the formation, streams of red energy begin to burst forth. Rumble. Simultaneously, numerous cultivators feel the pressure of spiritual energy and stiffen their faces. The entity within is striving to break free from its confinement. Liberation Palace fully enters the physical world, anchoring itself. And with it, the nearby heaven and earth energy begins to assimilate more of the energy of liberation. Crag, crag. Blood-red light begins to crack and break through the formation. The entire arid desert starts to resonate with the scent of blood. SSSHH. Blood mist flows through the cracks. Crag, crag, crag. Gradually, the sealing formation begins to crumble. A core formation cultivator swallows hard. Kagagugu. The formation breaks into pieces, and the heaven and earth spiritual energy that formed it visibly scatters in all directions. And finally, Wowung. The sealing formation is completely broken. A blood-red hue spreads across the world, and the entire desert becomes soaked in the smell of blood. Swoosh! The black castle is shrouded in a chilling blood mist. From within its depth, a figure emerges step by step. A blood-red robe, grayish-white hair, hands with deep wrinkled skin, and a face still hidden behind a bizarre, translucent black mask. It's Yuan Li, the Bloodwood practitioner. Have you been well? Kagagagugu. The 400 core formation and chi-building cultivators gathered in the area felt suffocated from just that one sentence. Nascent soul. Chengmun Yungjin trembles as he tries to gauge his cultivation level. Middle stage. Byok Chengyi's face darkens. Did he form both the yin spirit and yang spirit? Has he managed to freely merge and separate yin and yang spirits in the middle stage of nascent soul? No need to fear. Xiao Yunhan interrupts Byok Chengyi. SSSH. Dark curse spells spread around him. The blood mist could not penetrate the world formed by the black curses. He boasted he would reach the late stage of nascent soul, but he only managed to reach the middle stage. Isn't he ashamed to not keep his word as a nascent soul cultivator? Kagagagugu. The dark curse spells bubble, and upon touching the blood mist, causes it to rot and fall to the desert. Come at me, Yuan Li, today you die. What's this? It doesn't feel like devilish arts, but it certainly looks like it. Has he mastered a method derived from devilish arts? Yuan Li paid no attention to Xiao Yunhan's words and just observed him. Interesting and impudent fellow, but there seems to be a misunderstanding. I speak to Manly Minlap. Begin the attack. Manly Minlap nods and aims his cannon at Yuan Li, who is in the midst of his speech. The hundreds of spirit stone he had inserted into the cannon glow at once. And then, flash, a blue beam shoots towards Yuan Li. For a moment, the world turns into night as the beam draws in all the rays of the sun. Boom! Sound follows belatedly, shaking everything around. SSSH. A cloud of dust rises. Manly Minlap speaks as if hopeful. We got him. That's unlikely. Makli clan and Jin clan and all other clans unleash your attacks. Chengmun Yungjin conveys my words all around. Then the chi-building cultivators of Makli clan release their prepared yin-guiding summoning wind formation towards Yuan Li. Jin clan also simultaneously launches their yang-blazing red flame formation at him. Several chi-building cultivators use the power of their formations to launch a wide-area attack at the lone entity. We hit. No, we didn't. The real battle starts now, so everyone be ready. I pour out more curse spells while looking into the dust cloud. And then blood red pierces through the dust. Chengmun Yungjin's voice echoes from behind. Disperse. Boom. A bloody red beam shoots towards our location. And as the dust settles, Kagagugug. Above the black castle, there stood Yuan Li, unharmed, with thousands of black and red jiangshi lined up beneath him. All his dharma treasures and artifacts are naturally on display, exhibiting their might. Standing there, Yuan Li holds an unfamiliar blood-colored leaf fan in one hand. 200 years was not a short time for me or for you. Let's have some fun. Whir! He raises the blood-colored leaf fan. And then, boom! As he waves the leaf fan, a bloody wind mixed with the blood mist spreads in all directions, pushing back the entire alliance of core formation cultivators. Translator notes, and so it begins extra donated chapter by MJ Spixel and Heavenly Sword Demon. Thanks for the support. / *********. Discord https://dsc.gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 122. What you trampled on the path you have tread 10. Discord translating novice. Deploy the wall and mountain formation. At the roar of Chengmun Yungjin, core formation cultivators, holding the formation flags they had received earlier, formed in rank. As the formation flags are arranged in a specific array, they emit a blue light and radiate a rainbow of colors. Rumble. The rainbow-colored light forms a mountainous barrier, acting as a giant wall to block the blood storm. A level of precision incomparable to the hasty defensive formation used 200 years ago to block Yuan Li's attack. Quite sturdy, Yuan Li's bloodstorm could not penetrate the mountain wall and dissipated. Chengmun Yungjin's voice spreads in all directions. Everyone, take out the weapons you've prepared. Then, war dharma treasures brought by numerous clans began to glow. Chi-building cultivators aboard giant warships form handed seals simultaneously. Dozens of cannons on the warships aim at Yuan Li and emit bright light. The cannon-shaped dharma treasures and gun-shaped dharma treasures also emit brilliance simultaneously. The core formation, cultivators in front, also take out their dharma treasures. Compared to 200 years ago, 200 more core formation cultivators, painstakingly nurtured by each clan to prepare for the final battle with Yuan Li, brought the total to about 400. Dharma treasures and spells of all these core formation cultivators rush towards one being. And then, boom! Within the numerous explosions and clouds of dust, a blood light arises. Crackle! Inside the blood light, thousands of black and red Jiangshi, summoned by Yuan Li, start to move. It's the old monster's Jiangshi Legion. Kiyui. Several powerful Jiangshi gather to face the Dharma treasure of a single core formation cultivator. Kiyek. As the Jiangshi scream, their shockwave pushes back the core formation cultivator's spells. Four together are equal to one core formation. A cultivator screams, his face turning pale. Just then, from the back of the military camp, 16 Easter lords step forward. Below them are strange individuals wrapped in black bandages, emitting a peculiar poisonous energy. From the northern grasslands, 3 tribal chiefs step forward. As they open their storage artifacts, grotesque monsters with layers of flesh pour out. From the western 3 countries, heads of Makli clan, Ori clan, and Jun clan step forward. Makli clan calls forth a Jiangshi legion like Yuan Li from their storage artifact. Ori clan unleashes a skeleton army, and Jun clan releases ghosts refined from wandering souls. Devilish arts against devilish arts. Greenish-black Jiangshi of Makli clan cling to Yuan Li's black and red Jiangshi. Although individual Jiangshi are far behind Yuan Li's Jiangshi, Makli clan unleashes an overwhelming superior number, using the countless lives they massacred. Wowung. Then a Makli clan elder opens his storage device, releasing water with the stench of decaying corpses, flowing like a river. Makli clan's Jiangshi, upon touching the greenish water, gain even more vitality and strength, charging at Yuan Li's Jiangshi. In an instant, the momentum of Yuan Li's Jiangshi Legion is crushed. Fire soul infusing joy. Huea. 3 core formation elders of the Jin clan step forward and form seals. A spirit of fire floats in the air. The fire spirit trembles with pleasure each time the Jin clan elders form a seal. And with each indulgence in pleasure, the color of the primordial spirit changes. From red to orange, orange to gold, gold to blue and white. And then the fire spirit becomes a complete blue flame. Go! Kagagugu! With the hand seals of the Jin clan elders, the fire spirit trembles and falls upon Yuan Li's summoned Jiangshi. As a clan specialized in combating devilish arts, Jin clan, which had been competing against the Makli clan for hundreds of years, excelled in this area. Their blue flames quickly spread among the Jiangshi, burning Yuan Li's Jiangshi Legion. The flames, particularly effective against corpses, spread in all directions. Moreover, the flames seemed to have a will of their own, chasing after fleeing Jiangshi and clinging to them. Makli clans, Jiangshi clung and dragged Yuan Li's Jiangshi that were trying to shake off Jin clan's flames. Hwararuru. In an instant, a sea of fire erupted in the desert. With the combined attack of the western, northern, eastern devilish cultivator clans, and the Jin clan, Yuan Li's Jiangshi Legion is annihilated. Or so it seemed. Boom! A blood-colored glow shoots towards the wall and mountain formation. Yuan Li breaks through the rainbow-colored mountain and, crossing over, swings his blood-colored leaf fan. Wowung! A bloody storm blows, instantly killing 7 core formation and about 400 chi-building cultivators nearby. Blood cloud crimson sea. Yuan Li forms a seal. Simultaneously, the life force and blood from the corpses of the core formation and chi-building cultivators rose as a blood cloud into the sky. The massive blood cloud moved, converging on Yuan Li's Jiangshi that had turned into charred remains. Immediately after, the blood cloud is absorbed by the charred Jiangshi of Yuan Li. Wriggle, wriggle. The charred remains writhe as they absorb the blood cloud. Soon after, the charred corpses regenerate flesh. Kagagugu. The charred remains then rise from their places, fully regenerated. The annihilated Jiangxi Legion is completely resurrected. Is that all? Yuan Li scoffs and begins to form another seal. Kagagugu. The protective formation that Yuan Li breached crumbles, and a new formation surrounds him once again. Outside, the cultivators launch another assault on Yuan Li. The elders of the Jin clan and Mackley clan snicker. What a joke from the old monster. Is this the end? If he resurrects them once, we'll just kill them twice. Again, Mackley clan's Jiangxi rush towards Yuan Li's Jiangxi, and Jin clan elders create a blue fire spirit, throwing it towards Yuan Li's Jiangxi Legion. However, Huerara, the black and red Jiangxi, are no longer affected by the fire. What? The elders of the Jin clan are shocked, their eyes wide open. The black and red Jiangxi are unaffected by the fire spirit, absorbing it instead and becoming more vigorous, starting to kill off Mackley clan's Jiangxi. Astonishingly, when Yuan Li's Jiangxi touches those of the Mackley clan's Jiangxi are absorbed into Yuan Li's. This sight causes the Mackley clan elders to shudder. Chieka. The cultivators of the eastern and northern devil path, as well as their devilish creatures, scatter their attacks on the black and red Jiangxi Legion, but the Jiangxi absorb their techniques and grow even stronger. Isn't it marvelous? Bloodwood ghost corpses develop strong resistance once hit by a technique and can absorb the said techniques to recharge their energy. Rumble. Yuan Li opens his mouth, and a blood cloud spews out, wrapping around him. Simultaneously, the blood cloud spreads in all directions, shattering the protective formation of the core formation cultivators. The old monster is using his power. Disperse. You really think you can defeat me just because you've gathered in numbers? Wowung. The blood cloud swirls. Crash. Simultaneously, from Yuan Li's storage artifact emerges blood water, transforming into the shape of scythe-wielding ghost kings. The ghost kings merge with the blood cloud, forming two giant ghost kings enveloped in blood clouds. Chuang. The two blood cloud ghost kings swing their scythes on both sides. Boom. Dual strikes of nascent soul level. Their attacks shatter the protective formation assembled by the core formation cultivators. Foolish beings, all of you. Just then, pang, a blue beam of light turning the sky dark shoots again towards Yuan Li. Yuan Li flinches and forms a hand seal, and the two blood cloud ghost kings cross their scythes in front of him. Boom! The blue flash explodes, and after the light subsides, the ghost kings are torn in half, and Yuan Li is seen protecting himself with his Pagoda Dharma treasures. Even the Pagoda Dharma treasures dimmed significantly, indicating the attack had a substantial impact. Yuan Li frowned behind his translucent black mask. It wasn't this powerful before. Yuan Li's gaze turns to the far distance, where Manly Minlap, wrapped in white bandages, is aiming the cannon at him. Whirring, Manly Minlap holds the cannon with one hand and forms a seal with the other. The cannon glows once more, and a blue flash begins to form, even more powerful than before. Oh, so it's like that. The deceased souls of the fallen core formation and chi-building cultivators are being absorbed, enhancing its power, a cannon that grows stronger with more casualties. Yuan Li's eyes emit a bloody shine. I've heard of it, the main cannon of the Black Ghost Valley's nether crossing ship, one of the cannons destroyed in the battle with the Mad Lord, rumored to have drifted to the eastern shores. Weiyang. Manly Minlap silently infuses spiritual power into the cannon, holding it with one hand. Hiss. A faint ghostly wail seems to emanate from inside the cannon. And then, boom, another blue beam shoots at Yuan Li. More ferocious than before. Boom. The beam explodes. The blue flash of light causes a storm that sweeps around, and chi-building cultivators positioned behind struggle not to be swept away by the storm. The brilliance subsides. But the next moment, Wowung, a dull blood-colored glow pierces through the blue explosion and rushes towards Manly Minlap. Yuan Li, wielding a crystal skull staff, flies towards him. If it's the remnants of the nether crossing ship, I'm quite interested. Hand it over. Manly Minlap furrows his brows and attempts to reactivate the cannon, but Yuan Li is faster. Wowung. In an instant, Yuan Li reaches Manly Minlap and raises his hand. Wowung. A massive blood light gathers above his hand. Farewell. The next moment, crackle, Black tendrils of darkness, not of a living creature but of dark mist, entwines around Yuan Li. The tendrils are made up of thousands of tiny curse spells. Crackle, crackle. The black fog of curses envelop Yuan Li. At that moment, Manly Minlap quickly retreats, and an elderly man dressed in hemp clothes, Woryang, descends to Manly Minlap's position, taking out a brown wheel Dharma treasure. Die monster. Whir. The brown wheel begins to spin. As Woryang forms a hand seal, the wheel madly charges towards Yuan Li. Annoying pests. The wheel is completely stopped by the blood cloud summoned by Yuan Li with a wave of his hand. Annoyed, Yuan Li spits out a bloody glow as he speaks. A surprisingly skilled curse sorcerer, but still far from enough. It is, however, quite troublesome. Wovung. The blood light pushes away the curse spells. You have my acknowledgement. And then, boom. Manly Minlap's main cannon, along with another blue beam, shoots at Yuan Li, who is still talking to himself. Engulfed in blue light, Yuan Li faces the concentrated attacks of core formation cultivators and chi-building cultivators siege weapons. The ground shakes, and a glassy crater forms in the desert. The flash of brilliance that suddenly bloomed colored the desert, and, as if absorbing the desert's light, turned into darkness. At the center of the explosion, Yuan Li formed a hand seal and curled the blood light around himself, defending against attacks from all directions. You've prepared quite a bit in 200 years. It would have been dangerous if I was still in the early stages of nascent soul. His shield trembles precariously, but shows no sign of breaking. If I can just endure. Just then, Yuan Li notices a Dharma treasure. The wheel-shaped Dharma treasure Woryang had thrown. Spinning madly in front of him, the wheel began to spin faster. At first it was negligible, but its rotational force and power gradually increased. Yuan Li's eyes widen in shock. What is this, that bastard is? Rumble. The brown wheel, gradually turning blood red, emits a crimson steam, pressing against his shield with immense force. This bastard, he's pouring his vital true origin into it. Woryang, with blood falling from his eyes and mouth, continues to infuse his life force into his Dharma treasure. Die, old monster. Even if I have to burn all my life force, I'll leave a mark on you. Whirr. The wheel spins even faster. Rumble, rumble. Yuan Li sees the wheel slowly penetrating his trembling shield. You think I'll be injured by the likes of you? Ridiculous. Yuan Li emits a bloody glow from his eyes, gathering energy. And then, small characters in the air behind Yuan Li begin to float up. Xiao Yunhaiyan's curse spells. Yuan Li thought he had completely shaken off the sticky evil, but it hadn't entirely disappeared. Wriggle, wriggle. Xiao Yunhaiyan's curse spells climb up Yuan Li's body, settling near his heart. Outside Yuan Li's bombardment, Xiao Yunhaiyan, standing under serving command palace, speaks to a chi-building cultivator of the Chengmun clan assisting him. Created. Understood. The Chengmun clan's chi-building cultivator scatters seeds into the desert and forms a seal. Rumble. The cultivator's wood spiritual energy flows into the seeds, quickly growing them into a tree. As the cultivator forms a hand seal, the tree grows into a peculiar shape. It resembled a human, a person with arms outstretched, with a shadow submerged in dark curse spells. As Xiao Yunhaiyan extends his hand towards the wooden man, a strand of curses flows into its heart. In this vessel, let agony reside. Whirr. The curse spells in the wooden man's heart glows. Yuan Li twitched as he felt the dark evil in his heart. But before he can react, the evil explodes. The chi-building cultivator from the Chengmun clan, next to Xiao Yunhaiyan, strikes the wooden man's heart with his fist, creating a hole. The curse is activated. Ag. Throb. Yuan Li clutches his chest in agony as a sudden pain erupts in his heart. And in that brief moment, boom! Woryang's Dharma treasure, emitting steaming red mist, tears through Yuan Li's protective shield and charges at him. Chulalala. One side of Yuan Li's upper body is torn away. Woryang's wheel doesn't return to him, but instead flies behind Yuan Li. Countless Dharma treasures and attacks assault Yuan Li's torn half. Yuan Li, extracting pure spiritual force, temporarily creates an arm and forms a seal. Dissolve. Then an explosion engulfs Yuan Li. Kagagugu. Numerous core formation cultivators hold their breath, watching the area where the brilliance is slowly fading. Cough, cough. Woryang, dropping his usual cane, spits blood and glares at the area of explosion. An all-out attack by numerous core formation and chi-building cultivators. Everyone looks with anticipation in their eyes. And from within the dust cloud, something bizarre with a bloody luster appears. What is that? Chengmun Yongjin frowns. Around Yuan Li, 7 blank scrolls have appeared, with a bizarre blood-colored beast emanating the energy of 7 demon souls. The beast was guarding Yuan Li. Haha, thrilling indeed. The faces of the Cultivator Alliance darken. But is this really all you have? Yuan Li was regenerating half of his upper body that was torn away. In one hand he holds the crystal skull staff, and in the other, the blood-colored leaf fan. Try a bit harder, I'm not even excited yet. Rumble. The bloodwood ghost corpses that Yuan Li summoned began to extract energy from the spells, jiangshi, and devilish creatures they had absorbed. The energy emitted by the bloodwood ghost corpses coalesced into bloodlight and flew towards Yuan Li. Chulalala. As Yuan Li lifts the crystal skull staff, the skull opens its mouth, absorbing the blood energy. Simultaneously, Yuan Li's depleted energy begins to replenish. Chiya. Soon, Yuan Li returns to the same state as when he first emerged from the seal. Tusk tusk, how dull. My excitement's dying down. Don't you have anything more to show? Chulalalala. A mass of black curses rise from under Yuan Li, engulfing him. Tusk. Boom. However, this round of curses failed to reach Yuan Li, bouncing off his shield. Yuan Li looks at the shadow, manipulating the curse spells from afar. I wondered who kept sneakily mixing curses in. So, it was you. Ha ha ha, now I see it's not even a core formation cultivator but a chi-building one. He lifts the blood-colored leaf fan. I acknowledge your skill in sending troublesome core formation level curses as a chi-building cultivator. Very impressive. And Yuan Li turns back to see Woryang, gasping for breath. You risked your life to hit me hard. It's impressive, but it seems you've run out of energy to retrieve your Dharma treasure. Yuan Li mockingly taunts Woryang. Woryang, gasping for air, smiles. The Dharma treasure. I don't lack energy to retrieve it, you monster. It's been delivered. What nonsense. Well then, you've all worked hard, so die. Yuan Li swings his leaf fan, launching a huge attack on all the cultivators who exhausted their strength. Wowung. The blood storm engulfs the alliance. Hold on. Now's the time. Just a little longer. Chengmun Yongjin and numerous core formation cultivators spit blood as they once again deploy protective formations. However, unlike the first formation, this one is considerably weaker, and cracks soon appear, allowing the blood storm to surge through. Alyig. Clan head, save us. While core formation cultivators endure, many chi-building cultivators are swept away by the blood storm, turning into mere droplets of blood. The faces of numerous core formation cultivators contort in horror. However, the seemingly endless blood storm soon subsides. Manly Minlap, who had been withstanding at the back of the protective formation, once again lifts the main cannon of the nether crossing ship. Absorbing the souls of the dead chi-building cultivators, the cannon flickers with an even more powerful blue light. But Yuan Li laughs at Manly Minlap. It's laughable. I have already grasped the time it takes for the main cannon of the nether crossing ship to charge. Even when it consumes numerous resentful souls, it actually takes quite some time to fire, doesn't it? He slowly approaches the Manly Minrap. Well then, obediently hand over the remnant of the nether crossing ship. C-A-W-A, 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 C-H-W-A-C. Curse spells resembling earthworms fly towards Yuan Li, binding his feet. Yuan Li snorts with derision, looking at the shadow casting curses at him. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? A curse that won't even work. It's time. The shadow interrupts Yuan Li's words and speaks to Chengmun Yongjin. It's time. Everyone get ready. Chengmun Yongjin shouted, and the Cultivator Alliance began to move in unison. Then several chi-building cultivators rush towards the shadow wrapped in curse spells. As they take their positions in the 4 directions around the shadow and form a seal, an altar rises from the ground. Altars each offering sacrifices to the heavens. Yuan Li looks at them with incomprehension. a core formation altar. Have they all gone mad together? But Yuan Li soon turns his gaze to something else. Kriyak. The gate of the serving command palace is opening. All right, that's it. Why should I deal with you vermin any longer? I have business to attend to, so just die. From Yuan Li's body, bloody brilliance begins to scatter. And then, a formless trajectory flies towards Yuan Li. Guang. Yuan Li shudders and shoots the blood light he was preparing towards the formless trajectory. Kagagugu. The surroundings quake. Ho, what's this now? Yuan Li's gaze turns towards the gate of serving command palace. From within the wide-open gate of serving command palace, a mass of black curses pour out like a river. At the center of the black river stands a man in white clothes, shedding black tears. Two curse sorcerers. Yuan Li takes a look at the shadow standing on the other side. And then Yuan Li shudders. As Huok. The curses obscuring the shadow's entire body are sucked into the shadow, and its true body is revealed. It's a glass sculpture the size of a human. A glass doll human form that moves just like a human, filled with thousands of curse spells. The intricately made glass doll resembles Yuan Li. As the glass doll that just absorbed thousands of curses raises its arm, a brown wheel flies into its hand. The Dharma treasure. I don't lack energy to retrieve it, you monster. It's been delivered. The glass doll, looking just like Yuan Li, absorbs the blood and flesh that had burst from Yuan Li's upper body and stuck to the brown wheel. Cursed doll. Suak. Without hesitation, Yuan Li lifts his fan. It's dangerous. If a chi building level cursed doll contains my blood and a first-class curse sorcerer casts a curse. Quaying. However, a formless trajectory flies towards him, interrupting his actions. The curse sorcerer who emerged from serving command palace, shedding black tears. Xiao Yunhaiyan raises one hand above the river of curse spells. Yin Soul Ghost Incantation. Black curses flutter around him. Thousand lustrous forests see. From the river of curses, a forest made of black and green curse spells arise. Silica Earth Great Wall Practice. The dragon veins that flow through the serving command palace weave in and out of the black and green forest, gathering around Xiao Yunhaiyan according to his will. Kagagugu. And around Xiao Yunhaiyan, the energy that had gathered began to rush into his danshan. Pure spiritual force bubbles up throughout Xiao Yunhaiyan's body. Horn, neck, root, room, heart, tail, winnowing basket. Ladle, ox, girl, emptiness, rooftop, chamber, wall. Legs, bond, stomach, hairy head, net, beak, triple stars. Well, ghost, willow, star, extended net, wing, chariot. 28 stars, chi building completion. Jug, 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 jug. Then 4 more figures appear around Xiao Yunhaiyan. They too are shadows wrapped in black curses, Xiao Yunhaiyan's cursed dolls. The cursed dolls each have the cultivation of chi, building grand perfection. I reached the stage to advance to core formation 200 years ago through pain. But just for today, I refrained from core formation, continuously storing the growing spiritual power from the suffering into 5 cursed dolls, all advancing to chi, building grand perfection. Drip, drip. Xiao Yunhaiyan, shedding black tears, separated from serving command palace. SSSSSS. The ground where his black tears fell rotted away. I've come to return this pain, Yuan Li. Chhuac. The 4 chi-building cursed dolls that lined up beside Xiao Yunhaiyan run to the 4 prepared altars, taking positions in all 4 directions, and climb onto them. Keek, coming here with such a show. Are you really performing a mere core formation advancement ceremony in front of me? Kiyeving. The leaf fan in Yuan Li's hand begins to glow. What on earth have they all collectively lost their minds? Go Xiao Yunhaiyan. Quayak. Woryang, shedding bloody tears, charged towards Yuan Li, who was about to swing his leaf fan. I'll hold him back, kill him. Tusk this insect. Yuan Li clicks his tongue, trying to shake him off. But Woryang's body blazes red. Chhuara. His blood evaporates, and Woryang's entire body bursts into flames. The ghost fire that had been burning in a brownish hue now shines as bright as the golden sands of the desert. Even if I burn my life, I will kill you. Quayak. Woryang's body, burning his golden core, breaks through Yuan Li's barrier and enters his embrace. Quack. You trash. Go Xiao Yunhaiyan, I'll stall for time, curse him. Tayet, Seo Yun Hyan, leading the curse spells, nods as he enters the interior of the altar spread in all four directions. What? The glass cursed doll in Yuan, Li's appearance lays down obediently before Seo Yun Hyan. You this. Seo Yun Hyan looks at Wu Yang's brown wheel Dharma treasure with eyes streaming black tears. He lifts the wheel Dharma treasure. The glass doll hands the storage artifact it held to Seo Yun Hyan, who then exchanges glances with Wu Yang after receiving the bag. The two Avengers nod to each other. This bastard. Quang. The wheel raised by Seo Yun Hyan smashes down onto the Qi building Grand Perfection cursed doll containing Yuan Li's blood. Quajin Chengcheng. The glass cursed doll shatters into thousands pieces, scattering in all directions, and the curse, having used up one Qi building cursed doll, strikes Yuan Li directly. Kugyag. Blood pours from Yuan Li's 7 orifices. From his mouth, which had only produced snorts and tusk sounds, now came a genuine scream of agony. You damn trash. Yuan Li roars in a furious voice. However, Seo Yun Hyan turns his gaze away from Yuan Li. The advancement of core formation begins. Chug 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 chug. The altars placed in all four directions, and the 4 Qi building Grand Perfection cursed dolls who climbed onto the altars. The cursed dolls each form a seal. At the 7th star of Qi refining, the 7 stars ritual is performed to receive blessings from 7 stars among the 4 constellations, thereby opening the eyes that see celestial energy and determine fate. And in each constellation of Qi building, one ascends based on the blessings received during the ritual. To reach core formation, a cultivator who has reached the grand perfection of Qi building must perform rituals for each of the 28 stars corresponding to the spiritual energy stars within their body. The ritual involves embedding celestial energy in each of these spiritual energy stars. While this ritual ceremony is common among many cultivators, the detailed practices vary slightly depending on the methods they cultivate. The method of the Yin Soul Ghost Incantation, which Seo Yun Hyan has mastered, involves placing cursed dolls at the altars in each direction, cursing oneself through these dolls to embed celestial energy in the stars. Woven. Seo Yun Hyan's ritual began. In the east, the stars of horn, neck, root, room, heart, tail, and winnowing basket. To the spirit of the azure dragon, I, Seo Yun Hyan, perform this ritual to seek guidance on the human path. Please accept it. The cursed doll at the eastern altar, after weaving a curse spell into a string of curses, strangles itself with it. Crack. The neck of the cursed doll at the eastern altar snaps, and it collapses on the altar. In the north, the stars of ladle, ox, girl, emptiness, rooftop, chamber, wall. To the spirit of the black turtle, I, Seo Yun Hyan, perform this ritual to seek guidance on the human path. Please accept it. The cursed doll at the northern altar, using curse spells, creates a black sword and beheads itself. The head of the northern altar's cursed doll rolls, and it collapses on the altar. In the west, the stars of legs, bond, stomach, hairy head, net, beak, triple star. To the spirit of the white tiger, I, Seo Yun Hyan, perform this ritual to seek guidance on the human path. Please accept it. The cursed doll at the western altar, using curse spells, creates a black dagger and cuts its own stomach. Black curses pour out of the stomach of the western altar's cursed doll, and it collapses on the altar. In the south, the stars of well, ghost, willow, star, extended net, wing, chariot. To the spirit of the red vermilion, I, Seo Yun Hyan, perform this ritual to seek guidance on the human path. Please accept it. As the cursed doll at the southern altar forms a curse spell, the curse turns into yin fire, engulfing the doll. The southern altar's cursed doll burns in the yin fire and collapses onto the altar. In the center of the altars, Seo Yun Hyan gathered the curse spells coming from all directions. There is no need to match the time for the core formation ritual. One simply has to attract celestial energy with their cultivated method and embed it into the 28 corresponding spiritual energy stars. Paya. The black curses swarming from all directions burrow into Seo Yun Hyan's entire body. Seo Yun Hyan, shedding black tears, closes his eyes. Celestial energy begins embedding and connecting the 28 stars in his danshan. At the same time, the stars begin to rotate. Horn, neck, root, room, heart, tail, winnowing basket represents the east. Ladle, ox, girl, emptiness, rooftop, chamber, wall represents the north. Legs, bond, stomach, hairy head, net, beak, triple star represents the west. Well, ghost, willow, star, extended net, wing, chariot represents the south. The spiritual energy stars symbolizing the four directions start rotating in Seo Yunhyan's Danshan, beginning to create a domain within it. This domain, also known as the heavenly domain or heavenly sphere diagram, is engraved in his Danshan. The space within the heavenly sphere diagram in the Danshan begins to condense. Krag Traggle. The domain in the Danshan gathers the pure spiritual force flowing within the body, confining it within the domain. The pure spiritual force condenses more and more, starting to take a solid form. Kulu. Celestial energy from all directions pours into Seo Yunhyan's body furiously. Kugkyug. Yuan Li vomits blood from his injuries. Kuang. He burns his vital true origin and throws Wu Yang who bound him far away. Then he looks at Seo Yunhyan. He hasn't fully recovered from the curse, inflicted by sacrificing the cursed doll at the grand perfection of chi building. Yet even so, a smile never left his face. Like lunatics, everyone seems ridiculously laughable. There won't even be a need to reveal what I've been hiding. Do you truly believe anything will change in the grand scheme just because another core formation will emerge? He bursts into laughter. Ha ha ha, that's right. Ascend to core formation and make me die with you with your curse. Go ahead. Aren't you underestimating a nascent soul cultivator too much? Even if you curse me at that level, I can quickly recover just by devouring a few more bugs. Yuan Li points at the sky. If you have eyes, try to read the celestial energy. Do you really think you can win? Hasn't a great misfortune been cast upon you? Even the heavens know. Yuan Li's voice echoes throughout the desert. Today I will be the victor. The heavens will witness it. And then, rumble, rumble. In the once clear desert sky, dark clouds begin to gather. Boom! As Seo Yunhyan ascends to core formation, he flies towards Yuan Li, breaking through his defenses with the formless sword and charging into his embrace. Enjoy this beautiful sky to your heart's content. Rumble, rumble. The suddenly appearing dark clouds sever the connection between heaven and earth. The phenomenon of heavenly rejection. The heavens begin to gather strength to prevent the lifespan of an ender from being rewritten. Seo Yunhyan entered Yuan Li's embrace, hugging to the point of crushing him. Kuangtung. Within the dark clouds, jagged blue flickers. The streaks of blue are even more enormous than when Seo Yunhyan reached Chi building. Seo Yunhyan smiles brightly. It'll be a bit thrilling. Then, the heavens drop a pillar of heavenly lightning towards the heavenly rejected. Translator notes, I really enjoyed the four cursed dolls ritual scene and the reveal that Seo Yunhyan was in the serving command palace this whole time. I also bet Wyall didn't expect Seo Yunhyan to enter core formation, /// Discord https://dsc.gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 123, What You Trampled on the Path You Have Tread 11. Translating novice. P.E.It. All sound fades. Only the blue pillar that descended from the heavens illuminates the desert. The immense beam of lightning is the only light, overshadowing even the rays of the sun. Not even the main cannon of the nether crossing ship fired by Manly Minlap, nor the combined attack launched simultaneously by numerous core formation cultivators, could compare to that brilliance. The light created by the crude hands of mere humans in the form of spells and formations is of no match for the pure brilliance directly forged by the heavens. All members of the Alliance, standing there, swallowed their saliva and gazed inside the pillar. Byokchungi bit his lips fiercely, his hands trembling. Makli Hwangshan looked at the blue pillar with shocked eyes, inhaling deeply. Jinlu Yonchen's face was blank as she opened her mouth wide. Makli Hwangshan spoke to Chengmun Yongjian. Look here, Chengmun clan head. I've heard of Cultivator Sio's curse strategy, but I wasn't informed of anything like this. Oh, this strategy was individually proposed by Cultivator Sio to me. Chengmun Yongjin continues. Honestly, when I first heard of it, I couldn't believe it either. Heavenly tribulation isn't a phenomenon for core formation, but a celestial phenomenon that starts striking from at least the nascent soul stage. It's just as he said. Heavenly tribulation isn't for originally striking chi-building cultivators, as they become core formation cultivators. It begins at the nascent soul stage, where mortals start to behold the world's origin. That's when the heavens punish those fated to die. That is heavenly tribulation. Heavenly rejection phenomenon, who would believe it? But such laws didn't apply to everyone. Historical records show that among ancient cultivators, there were those struck by heavenly lightning not during core formation, but while advancing from chi refining to chi building. These individuals also carried the bizarre phenomenon of heavenly rejection, blocking the 7 stars ritual rite from chi refining 7th star. Weak yet rejected by the heavens. And Seo Yun Hyan is one of those heavenly rejected, afflicted with the heavenly rejection phenomenon. I too was skeptical and only agreed because cultivator Seo earnestly requested it. We made it an individual operation because I had no confidence to apply such an exaggerated legend as the strategy for the entire alliance. Mackley Hwangchen looks inside the blue lightning, his expression hardening. Byok Chungi comes over and speaks. Haha, still, you should have at least given a hint to me, one of the 3 critical factors of the strategy. It's so sudden my heart is racing. I'm sorry I didn't inform you, Byok clan head. Chengmun Yungjin apologizes. Jinlu Yonchen approaches him. As expected of Oriboni, such an impressive strategy, it's truly awe-inspiring. It's not my strategy, Jinlu clan head. It's Cultivator Seo's strategy. More importantly, why is everyone here chatting? Return to your positions. Oh, don't be so strict. It's a heavenly tribulation after all. Everyone's just gathered here, shocked because they've never witnessed such a fearsome celestial phenomenon. Jinlu Yonchen gently brushes Chengmun Yongjin's chest with her fingertips, winking. Chengmun Yongjin sighs and shouts. Everyone, return to your positions and maintain formation. I don't know the extent of the old monster's vitality, but if he's still alive, we must launch another total assault and completely evaporate him to his nascent soul. At his words, the Alliance resumed their stance. In the world of silent blue light, only 2 beings exist. Yuan Li and me. Qi Yeving. To prevent Yuan Li from escaping, I raised numerous curse spells on my arms, connecting my cursed hands to Yuan Li's body. He gnashed his teeth, unable to get away, and unfolded a red shield to bear the heavenly lighting with me with all his might. No, it might not be right to say he bore it with me. He is simply blocking it all. The baptism of blue light that seemed endless eventually ceases. Chia. The blue lightning dissipates, and Yuan Li gasps for air, glaring at me with eyes emitting a bloody glow. You trash. But, Kurung Kururung. The heavens begin to rage again. As if to question my audacity to bypass heavenly lightning with another's help. The heavens unleash their fury on me once more through the blue brilliance. The streak of blue is even thicker and larger than before. Kagagugugu. Yuan Li and I are once again trapped inside the blue pillar. Without a moment to glare at me, Yuan Li grits his teeth again and expands the barrier. This phenomenon, called heavenly lightning, or heavenly tribulation or heavenly punishment, is said to strike once one reaches the nascent soul stage, according to legends. And according to the records in the texts, such heavenly tribulations are something that the individual undergoing must overcome alone. If one receives help from others, the heavens become even more furious and send down even stronger heavenly lightning. Regardless of the current situation, I am indeed receiving Yuan Li's help. Kagagugugu. Qiying. The 4 Dharma treasure, Yuan Li's pagodas surround us. The pagodas emit red light, forming a barrier around us. However, Pajik, the barrier that seemed to withstand the heavenly tribulation for a while, began to crack. I can see Yuan Li clenching his teeth tightly. Qiying. The red pagodas then emit brighter light. The cracks seem to disappear, but the pagodas, perhaps overexerted, appear to be in a dangerous state. And just when the pagoda's condition seems to reach its limit. Qiying. Pa. Once again, the heavenly tribulation ceases. Yuan Li, bleeding from his nose, glares at me. I will kill. And then, the heavens prepare the 3rd heavenly tribulation. Flash. Before he can say anything, the 3rd strike descends upon us. Quangjang Chang Chang. The barrier formed by Yuan Li's pagoda Dharma treasures shatter like fragile glass, and the Dharma treasures explode in the middle, unable to withstand any longer. Quagwing. Boom. The pagoda Dharma treasures, which had been defending Yuan Li, lose their light forever and are torn apart in the heavenly lightning. Qiying. Yuan Li fires a bloody light towards the heavens. He summons the 2 ghost kings, and the blood cloud from his storage artifact. He draws 17 bone daggers, slashing towards the sky. But the bloody light is swallowed by the blue streak. The two ghost kings flee in terror at the sight of the heavenly lightning. The dagger Dharma treasures seem to hold for a while, but soon collapsed. Elogs. Yuan Li screams and gathers all his strength to spread a defensive barrier. A spherical barrier envelops us. The bloody barrier of a mid-stage nascent soul cultivator blocks the heavenly lightning. However, P.S. it says it. His barrier too starts to show hair-thin cracks, and the heavenly lightning begins to leak inside. Patching. Yuan Li's barrier completely shatters. The heavenly lightning strikes us directly. Both Yuan Li and I are directly exposed to the heavenly tribulation. We both silently scream in terrible agony. But having been struck several times before and accustomed to the pain, I regain consciousness in this state. And in that state, I endure while gripping hard onto Yuan Li. Chalik. I overpower the unconscious Yuan Li, lifting him above me to use as a shield. Indeed, the flesh of a nascent soul cultivator blocks the heavenly lightning quite well. Occasionally, some streaks flowed through his flesh, but they were manageable with the formless sword. Chaduk. Holes begin to appear in Yuan Li's body by the lightning. The heavenly tribulation leaks through the holes. More and more holes are created. I grip my teeth and fend off the lightning with the formless sword. And after some time, the seemingly eternal storm of lightning finally subsides. And, perhaps due to my use of Yuan Li as a shield against the heavenly lightning, or bouncing off the lightning with the formless sword, the heavens seem to judge that I have blocked the tribulation and do not form another one, just rumbling within the dark clouds. Thus, the dark clouds slowly begin to disperse. Now's the time. I shout to the allies, bursting out a command. Pitting. The main cannon of the nether crossing ship, charged by Manly Minlap, fires. Flash. A blue beam shoots towards Yuan Li and me. I place the still half-conscious Yuan Li in the path of the beam, and we are both swept away, thrown inside Serving Command Palace. Just as planned, I kick Yuan Li into Serving Command Palace. Kagagugu. Entering Serving Command Palace again, a familiar energy welcomes me. Silica Earth Great Wall Practice. Kagagugu. The dragon veins of Serving Command Palace are drawn to me, naturally beginning to fill my danshin. I immediately sit down in a lotus position, rushing towards the final stage of core formation. Keying. Having overcome heavenly tribulation, a complete set of 28 stars, infused with celestial energy, begin to solidify in their places. And then, flash, my danshin. Within a golden core is formed. The size of the golden core is slightly larger than 2 fists combined, and the surface of the golden core is engraved with 28 stars, forming the heavenly sphere diagram. The inner core, originally the size of 2 finger segments in the center of my danshin, is now located in the very center of the 2-fist-sized golden core. Its appearance resembles an armillary sphere that represents the earth and the celestial sphere surrounding it. The luminous spirit emitting from the golden core instantly colors the area of Serving Command Palace, and I half open my eyes within the light. Thump, 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 thump. Core formation cultivators outside Serving Command Palace begin to enter one by one. They launch another attack at Yuan Li, who had been burned to a charcoal-like state. Taking advantage of the time they bought from me, I take out the storage artifact given to me by the cursed doll. The cursed doll and I were linked in real time. From the centipede's cave, I watched over the village Buck Hyang Hwa and I saved, for 200 years through the cursed doll. It was this cursed doll who also forged the glass swords, which I offered as tributes in Chinsik City, by engraving spiritual circuits and refining them into the colorless glass swords. And now, I finally received them through the cursed doll's storage artifact. Chararuk. I opened the storage artifact, summoning 3,000 glass swords into the air through sword control. Hwararuk. Chi refining 14th star. From the stage of infinite spiritual cloud in the Chi refining stage, cultivators can spit out spiritual clouds from within their bodies to cast spells. But upon forming a golden core, the nature of the spiritual clouds that cultivators had been using undergo a qualitative change. Hwararuru. The spiritual clouds become more active and heat up fiercely. They transform into flames. Core formation cultivators call this flame emitted from the golden core as Dan fire. I spit out the fire of spiritual power, blooming from my dantian through my mouth. The Dan fire spreads around me, covering the 3,000 glass swords. Every glass sword has a spiritual circuit engraved on them, and my Dan fire flows through these circuits, firmly marking me as the owner of the swords. Through the process of refining magic artifacts with Dan fire, they are reborn as Dharma treasures of core formation cultivators. These Dharma treasures, evolved from magical artifacts, reside within the cultivator's golden core and develop gradually as the cultivator advances in their cultivation, nourished by the Dan fire that blazes within the golden core. Over time, as they are cultivated in the dantian by Dan fire, they become stronger, tougher, and more powerful. Dharma treasures that have accompanied a cultivator for an extended period are known as the cultivator's natal Dharma treasures. Of course, a recently refined Dharma treasure can't be called a natal Dharma treasure yet. Still, its power cannot be underestimated. The colorless glass swords, made simply from desert sand, did not take long to be refined by Dan fire. Shiraruk. I absorbed the 3,000 glass swords refined with Dan fire. The 3,000 glass swords settle inside my golden core. I close my eyes, feeling the traces left by Buck Hyung HWA for me. Please give me strength. Not just Buck Hyung HWA. The tributes of my many neighbors of Chinsik City used to refine the colorless glass swords. I pray silently to my connections who had been massacred by Yuan Li. Kagagugugu. From afar, I see the piece of charcoal gradually emitting crimson light, being hammered by the attacks of the core formation cultivators. Chararuru. Outside serving command palace. From the black castle, a crimson radiance akin to a river surges towards us. The color isn't a muted shade of blood, but appears significantly more vivid and intense than any previously accumulated life force by Yuan Li. Chararuk. The river of blood sweeps the charcoal-turned Yuan Li. Kagagugug. And then Yuan Li's body regenerates as he rises. Still hidden behind that black mask, his true expression is unknown. However, everyone present knows that Yuan Li is extremely furious. I've spent hundreds of years covertly accumulating long-source true power in the castle for my ascension to heavenly being. These insect-like creatures, these trash-like creatures. Cough, cough. Even though his body fully regenerated, he still spat out blood. The aftermath of the curse and the heavenly tribulation seemed to linger. The heavenly tribulation barely touched me, yet the lightning energy is wreaking havoc within me. It's impossible for him, who bore the full force, to remain unscathed. Cough, cough. I too cough up blood-stained phlegm and stand up. The heavenly tribulation is definitely causing me some problems. However, swoosh. There are 65 cursed dolls prepared in advance in serving command palace. Of these, 4 were used for the core formation ceremony, and the remaining 61 are low-grade cursed dolls imbued with the strength of Qi, refining first or second star. And curse reversal. Keying. As I form a hand seal and use the Yin Soul Ghost incantation, the injuries and lightning energy remaining in my body disperse into the 60 cursed dolls. Cursed dolls can be used to curse others, but transferring all my injuries to the pre-prepared cursed dolls is also possible. Craggle, traggle, track. Of course, the 60 cursed dolls, unable to withstand the lightning energy, instantly turn to ash and scatter. But still, I've transferred almost all my injuries and the lightning energy. I then take out the immortal wine previously stored in the storage artifact, the spirit nectar, which briefly enhances bodily regeneration, and the mysterious flame Jade, which briefly enhances the ability to handle Dharma treasures. I drink both liquors in one go. Kagagugu. The minor injuries and lightning energy left after distributing to the cursed dolls are swept away by the regenerative power and disappear. After drinking the liquors, the healing speed of injuries is remarkably fast. Is this the power of core formation? It might be difficult now, having just ascended to core formation, but after 50 to 100 years of cultivation, I should be able to recover in a few months even if my head is severed. Such is the robustness of life force of core formation cultivators. These bastards, I will kill them all. While vomiting blood from his mouth, Yuan Li exudes a threatening aura, and everyone in serving command palace nod in agreement. Chengmun Yongjin shouts, Everyone as per the plan. Close the gate. To prevent Yuan Li from escaping or receiving further support from the Black Castle, the core formation cultivators form hand seals, closing the gates of serving command palace. Creak thud. The chiefs of the northern grasslands step forward. Click, 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 click. 4 chiefs take positions around Yuan Li, 1 in each direction. Behind each chief, 3 core formation cultivators take their places. Behind these 3, 7 more core formation cultivators position themselves. The northern grasslands secret art. Blue sky heavenly net, open. Kagagugu. The spiritual power of the cultivators in the formation connect. A blue light traps Yuan Li. The main pillars of the formation turn into white clouds, and Yuan Li in the center is trapped in the blue sky. This is. And Yuan Li, who is in the middle stage of nascent soul, falls to the early stage. Of course, the chiefs who spread the blue sky heavenly net turn red-faced and are utterly immobilized, but they manage to tie down Yuan Li's cultivation by 1 level. And then I flick my finger. The last remaining cursed doll. The doll, following my will, touches the golden order of serving command palace. Kiying. Kagagugu. Strange pressure suppresses the cultivation of everyone. Core formation cultivators are reduced to chi building, and Yuan Li, a nascent soul, falls to the early stage of core formation. Then I, Manly Minlap and Byok Chingi, enter the blue sky heavenly net. Manly Minlap pulls out the cannon aiming at Yuan Li, and Byok Chingi begins chanting and takes out a talisman from his pocket, starting to activate it with a chant. And I grin so broadly it's as if my cheeks are about to split. Chararuk. Though my core formation cultivation fell to chi building, it is still possible to freely store and summon Dharma treasures, a unique ability of the golden core. 3,000 glass swords rise around me, guided by my sword control. Wu-wung. The fragile flying swords made of glass overlay with the formless sword. The duration of the serving command palace's restraint is the result of 200 years of dedicated research by formation masters. It can be extended from half a gak to half a shichen. Within half a shichen, 60 minutes, a conclusion must be reached. Gazing at Yuan Li with unwavering resolve, I declare, "Here lies your grave." And thus our final battle began. /// Discord https://dsc/gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 124. What you trampled on the path you have tread. 12. Translating novice. Thanks to the mysterious flame Jade liquor, my initial encounter with a Dharma treasure felt intuitively simple, as if mastery came effortlessly. Wu-wung. The battle began. The colorless glass swords began to move. Quang quang quang. The colorless glass swords plunged straight into the earth, furiously excavating the terrain around them. Since it's a fragile Dharma treasure made of glass, its strength is extremely poor. However, once overlaid with the formless sword, it boasts the same strength and tenacity as the formless sword. Arg. Yuan Li dodges the colorless glass swords, glaring at me, and also glances at Manly Minlap, who is gathering energy for the main cannon of the nether crossing ship in the distance. He also takes a long look at Byok Chingi, who is gathering energy in the talisman and preparing for an attack. I am momentarily puzzled, but focus my mind and move the colorless glass swords. Chalalalak. 3,000 colorless glass swords move at my will. A storm of glass began to rage. Yuan Li counters with his 17 bone daggers, the crystal skull staff, the bloodleaf fan, and the blood-red spear Dharma treasure from within his body. A ghost king leaps out of the blood-red spear, grabs the spear and swings it around. The 17 dagger Dharma treasures also seem to have their own will, dispersing attacks in his vicinity. Each time Yuan Li unleashes a blood wind with the leaf fan, the surroundings shake violently. However, quagwagwagwa. The storm of 3,000 glass swords devours everything, approaching Yuan Li. Despite their seemingly erratic flight, not a single glass sword strikes another, their movement being orderly. The Dharma treasure of colorless glass sword is 3,000 swords as one set. Unified as one, overlaying them with the formless sword, endows them with the complete implementation of the formless sword's freedom of trajectory and orbits. And that's not the end. Colorless glass sword first form. There are 3 forms to the colorless glass sword, and their abilities change depending on the form. Color. The first form, color, of the colorless glass swords is to interconnect the spiritual energy circuits engraved on each of the 3,000 glass swords. Chalalelic. 3,000 glass swords disperse. The spiritual energy circuits engraved on the glass swords begin to interconnect. Interestingly, each colorless glass sword has a single spiritual energy circuit, but the design of these circuits are subtly different according to the rules set by Buck Hyung Hwa. Therefore, each glass sword emits different colors when interconnected due to these subtle differences. The colorless glass swords, drifting in every direction, start to radiate a spectrum of colors. The whole world seems to be covered in a kaleidoscope of brilliance. It's not just a change in color, but the temperament of each glass sword itself changes. All 3,000 swords project distinct temperaments, and the range of changes that these temperaments undergo within the storm of 3,000 glass swords is infinite. They echo the limitless freedom of the formless sword. One temperament, when in a different position, becomes a completely different tool. A single glass sword continuously changes its position according to my manipulation and strikes relentlessly. This continuously changing glass sword is 3,000 in number. Arg this bastard. Yuan Li unleashes a blood wind with his blood-colored leaf fan, blocking the glass swords. But I manipulate the glass swords even more precisely. Infinite change is in my hands. The formless sword only gains freedom of trajectory, not of temperament. However, by obtaining the colorless glass swords, the formless sword reaches a more complete realm of freedom. Chalalelic. Sharp temperament, soft temperament, a moderate temperament between the two, hard temperament, flowing temperament. The energy of those innumerable temperaments all move according to my will, dyeing the surroundings in a brilliance of colors. Those changes devour Yuan Li's blood storm, gradually swallowing him up. HMPH, don't make me laugh. Yuan Li scoffs, infusing energy into his dagger Dharma treasures. The 17 bone daggers rotate crazily around him, scattering bright red streaks. The bright red streaks seem to completely engulf him. But I just smile. It's laughable. Shung. Among the numerous changes, my vision accurately finds a gap. No matter how tightly the streaks surround him, there is always enough room to penetrate. The colorful glass swords rush towards him. Kua Quang Quang. The streaks repel the glass swords. However, Arg. Pong. Suddenly, the barrier of stakes is broken, and Yuan Li is exposed from within. His body is already embedded with dozens of glass swords. The color form of the colorless glass sword initially gleams with numerous colors when activated, but thereafter it can revert to colorless at the user's will. Yet, the qualities created when the swords bore color do not disappear. This means it is possible to confuse the enemy's vision with transparent colorless glass swords, and then strike. I channel the formless sword, housed in the colorless glass sword, into Yuan Li's body. Severing mountain swordsmanship, layered mountains, Chi mountain heart sky. Swoosh. The formless sword flowing into his body expands massively with thorns. Alorg. Yuan Li briefly screams, trying to regenerate his body. However, the curse spells I sent with the colorless glass sword mingle inside him, preventing proper regeneration and causing decay. Die. Swish. 3,000 colorless glass swords again rush towards him, now defenseless. Kagulia. And then, Kagagugu. The two blood cloud ghost kings who had fled earlier from the heavenly lightning, and the bizarre ghost beast combined from 7 demon souls. The combined power of these 3 entities, now reduced in cultivation due to the serving command palace's restraint, but still at the core formation level, defends against the storm of glass. Swish. Yuan Li regenerates his body in the given time. Good, quite impressive. He sneers. To push me this far, I give my respects. I too will properly fight now. He then reaches into his storage artifact, pulls something out, and throws it into the air. Squirm. My brows twitch upon seeing it. Crack. I grind my teeth, veins bulging on my forehead. I recognize that familiar aura. It's Kim Young-hoon's inner core. His remains, not found in Kim Young-hoon's body, were unsurprisingly taken by Yuan Li. This demon core's owner was truly impressive. I don't understand why the heavenly being seniors didn't take such a monster with such growth potential. In the midst of that battle, he was growing in real time, and at the brink of death, even my heart skipped a beat. were strange incantations, possibly engraved by Yuan Li, are etched onto Kim Young-hoon's inner core. The incantations glow red, emitting a strange attraction. To understand the source of his talent, I dissected his body but couldn't find anything. No unique spiritual roots, no unique physique. Eventually wondering if it was an issue of personality, I tried to extract and refine his soul, but couldn't find the soul either. Out of frustration, I extracted and refined his demon core instead and discovered something interesting. Squirm Squirm, the bizarre ghost beast. The two blood cloud ghost kings. The three ghosts are drawn to the inner core's attraction, beginning to merge around it. Harmonizing power. This demon core can mix and circulate completely different forces in its vicinity. It possesses overwhelming harmonizing power, able to assimilate any energy. So, round Kim Young-hoon's inner core, the bizarre ghost beast and the ghost kings merge, transforming into a three-headed Asura. Yuan Li forms a seal, and his spear, leaf fan, and crystal skull staff fly into the 6 arms of the Asura. Rumble. The Ghost Kings and the bizarre ghost beast initially showed the cultivation that was dropped from early nascent soul to early core formation. But now, their cultivation increases from mid to late core formation as they merge. And then, pub. 17 bone dagger Dharma treasures. Yuan Li embeds 16 of these daggers into various parts of the Asura. As for the last remaining dagger, Yuan Li cut off 3 of his fingers, feeding them one by one into the Asura's mouth. Yuan Li's self-amputated fingers do not regenerate, and the Asura's cultivation surges even more after consuming them. Kagagugu. Core formation grand perfection. The Asura's power reaches just short of nascent soul. With his demon core, I've created this excellent result. You, his friend, have learned a similar strange method despite appearing different. You must have a similar demon core, right? Extract it and make good use of yours too. Yuan Li manipulates the Asura from behind, shouting, "Bring it on!" Colorless glass sword second form, natural. I release the second form of the colorless glass sword while looking at him. The colorless glass sword second form natural has a simple effect. The colorless glass swords become more strongly interconnected, creating a perfect link of energy. The 3,000 glass swords in their connected state begin to circulate energy among themselves. This circulation seamlessly incorporates my formless sword, allowing it to flow in unison with them. Thus, they achieve a more profound interconnectedness, facilitating a unified energy circulation. That is the second form of the colorless glass sword, natural. The greatest advantage of natural is, of course, the ability to instantly circulate the formless sword to the desired location in accordance with the circulating energy, concentrating or dispersing the power of the formless sword. The colorless glass swords line up in a row. The formless sword housed within the glass swords focus its energy at the tip of the lined-up swords due to the circulation of natural. Clang. Driven by sword control, the glass swords pierce directly into the Asura. It's uncertain whether the Asura feels pain or not, as it shows no expression while gripping and swinging its spear. However, the glass swords quickly disperse and reposition themselves, and once again under my control, they begin flying around the Asura, inflicting wounds on its body. Numerous changes occur. The Asura swings the blood-colored leaf fan on one side, the blood-colored spear on another, and the crystal skull staff on yet another, scattering various spells. Explosions resonate, distorting the area in all directions. But I continue on, controlling the storm of glass to pressurize the Asura. Colorless glass sword, first form, second form, combine. And thus, the true strength of the colorless glass sword begins to emerge. First form color, second form natural. When both forms are activated simultaneously, the terror of the colorless glass sword is fully revealed. The interconnected glass swords activate their spiritual energy circuits, shining in various colors. Then, in that state, the energy of the glass swords begin to circulate. Flash. The different temperaments within the glass swords begin to circulate, swapping places between each sword. A sword that once emitted black turns white. The colorless glass swords, each originally having their unique hue, begin to continuously share and change colors without pause. A cascade of colors dance, forming a luminous tempest that envelopes the Asura. The infinite trajectory of the formless sword merges with the endless shifts of temperaments of the colorless glass sword. Together, they display an array of transformations beyond words. The blood-colored Usra is but a small moth trapped in a storm. Flick flick. Gradually, more wounds appear on the surface of the Usra. The storm of glass seems wildly chaotic, but each sword follows the group of swords. Sizzle. The wounds on the Usra's body multiplies, soon covering it entirely. Severing mountain swordsmanship. 22nd move. Ultimate technique. 3,000 colorless glass swords begin to enact a sword technique while revolving around the Usra. Severing mountain. The ultimate technique of severing mountain swordsmanship, channeled through the 3,000 colorless glass swords, converges into a singular, devastating strike. As the colorless glass swords unleash Severing Mountain, the formless sword housed within them amplifies the transformative power in Severing Mountain, grinding the Usra from all angles. Flash. A burst of light erupts, and the Usra explodes completely. I rush forward, snatching Kim Young-hoon's inner core from the center of the Usra, then control the colorless glass swords. Disperse. Swish. The glass swords scatter in all directions, clearing a path, and at the end of the path stands Yuan Li. Fire. At that moment, the Nether Crossing ship's main cannon, which had been gathering energy, fires. Yuan Li tries to dodge, but I form a seal. Duck. While distracted, I had stealthily placed a cluster of curses behind him. The curses, like tentacles, envelop his body, preventing him from escaping. It isn't just me. Countless core formation cultivators, now at Qi building stage, under the command of Qingmun Yungjin, coordinate to bind Yuan Li with various spells. Dozens, hundreds of spells, not just curses, tightly bound him. Qingmun Yungjin shouts, "Byok clan head now, use it now." Byok Qingyi also throws the talisman infused with spiritual power towards Yuan Li. The talisman emits light as it flies towards Yuan Li. Yuan Li, reduced to a mere early core formation stage, is hit squarely by the main cannon of the Nether Crossing ship. Flash. Light erupts in all directions. We all stare at the center of the explosion. Manly Minlap, too, focuses on the center without making any remarks like "we've killed him this time." And then, SHHH. The light subsides. Silently, we look at the spot where Yuan Li had been. The dust settles. At the spot where the light and dust clears, Yuan Li still stands. But on the faces of all the cultivators present, there is a glimmer of hope. No more spiritual pressure can be felt from Yuan Li. Not a single trace of spiritual energy. Finally, it's when Qingmun Yungjin sighs in relief. Kriuk. The gates of the serving command palace begin to open. Who is it? Didn't I say not to open the gates of serving command palace until the operation is completely finished? Qingmun Yungjin frowns, looking towards the entrance of the serving command palace. The ones opening the gate are 5 Eastern lords. I notice something strange. The color of their intent is odd. Just then, excellent. Yuan Li raises both arms. Excellent, excellent, so very excellent. You all fought so magnificently. I am moved by your resolve. I pay my respects to this first war. I, Bloodwood practitioner Yuan Li, recognize your valor. As the gates of serving command palace open, the core formation cultivators inadvertently look up at the sky outside the gate. The dark clouds have disappeared, and the celestial energy is still ominous. Close it, close the gates of serving command palace. Qingmun Yungjin urgently shouts, but the 5 lords who opened the gates just cross their arms. And then, rumble. The tribal chiefs of the northern grasslands gather, and suddenly, the blue sky heavenly net begins to collapse. The 4 tribal chiefs who have been the mainstay of the formation suddenly break off their spiritual connection and cross their arms. I quickly read their intent. Till now, I had no time to read detailed intent due to the battle with Yuan Li. Right now, the intent of those cultivators begin to change, different from the others. It's a golden hue, the intent of joy. What is this? Are you betraying us? Qingmun Yungjin, enraged, summons a blue glow from his body. Cultivators of the northern grasslands and eastern states, please suppress these traitors. The 3 western countries, along with the western cultivators, will handle the old monster. And then, swish. Green ghost-like figures block our path. Black chains of light wrap around me, Qingmun Yungjin, and the cultivators from Shengzi, Yangyuo, and Byokra. Jinlu Yongchen approaches the chained Qingmun Yungjin, caressing his neck with a seductive voice. Ah, Oriboni, everything went according to plan. Sir Bloodwood has won. Mackley H. Wangchen, manipulating the Jiangxi, approaches the chained clan head of the Jin clan, kicks him down and tramples on him. And Byok Chengyi stands beside Yuan Li with a triumphant expression. Be by Byok clan head. Qingmun Yungjin's eyes, seeing one of the three most important people in the war against Yuan Li, Byok Chengyi, standing beside Yuan Li, bulge with rage. Byok Chengyi chuckles and speaks. How is it, Lord Bloodwood? The effects of the heaven-sealing talisman are quite useful, aren't they? Good, this is truly the defensive power of the heavenly being stage. Not a single strand of spiritual energy is leaking from the whole body, quite an amusing feeling. Indeed, what Byok Chengyi threw to Bloodwood practitioner at the last moment was not a heaven-striking talisman that delivers a blow of heavenly being level, but a heaven-sealing talisman that provides heavenly being level defense. And then, swish, outside the serving command palace. From Yuan Li's Black Castle, the same Crimson River that had come earlier enters through the gates of serving command palace. Swish. As Yuan Li absorbs the Crimson River, his spiritual power begins to rise again. Seemingly displeased, he moves his hand. To make me use so much of my precious long source true power, the long source true power I've gathered for hundreds of years. Well, it doesn't matter. There won't be many chances to extract so much life force from core formation cultivators like today. Haha, Sir Bloodwood. There's only about a moment left until serving command palace's restraint releases. Byok Chengyi looks around us with a flattering expression and continues. Please show us the defensive and offensive power of the heavenly being stage. I will do so. Crag Trek. I break the black chains with my formless sword and unleash my formless sword and colorless glass sword at him. Boom. But. Ping ping. The glass swords and formless sword are all repelled by the strange energy surrounding Yuan Li, which prevents even a single strand of spiritual energy from leaking. Yuan Li laughs. I'll remember you especially, such an unyielding fellow, but it's useless. As long as the heaven-sealing talisman is activated, I can use the defensive power of a heavenly being until my nascent soul power returns. And he speaks to Byok Chengyi. Hand over the heaven-striking talisman. Today, right here, let's demonstrate the power of heavenly being. Yes, Lord Bloodwood. I clench my teeth. Crunch. So hard that I feel like my gums will bleed. 3 cultivator clans in the west of the Treading Heaven Desert have sworn allegiance to me. 4 tribes of the northern grasslands have prostrated before me. The 5 lords of the eastern states have declared they will follow me. In my past life, Yuan Li said so. I thought Yuan Li only subdued them by implanting the 5 elements blood curse banner after the first battle. But it wasn't so. Yuan Li, even before the battle. Over 200 years ago, the 3 cultivator clans in the west of the Treading Heaven Desert, the 4 tribes of the northern grasslands, the 5 lords of the eastern states. He had them under his control all along. Jinlu Yongchen strokes Qingmun Yungjin's body, who is tightly bound by the secret Dharma treasure of the Jinlu clan due to the sudden betrayal. Ah, Oriboni, finally this day has come. The day I take you as mine. I've been waiting for so long. We can obtain the lineage of the great Qingmun Sunwu, Azure Tiger Saint's lineage. Finally, the 2 clans can truly become one. Byokra will be handed over to the Byok clan and the Qingmun clan will move to Shengzi. The remnants of the other 6 clans will be taken by Lord Bloodwood, so I'll give all their lands to you, Oriboni. For how long the Jinlu clan was forced to shamefully share with these scums in an alliance, you know, don't you? Oriboni, now, Shengzi is ours. Together, we'll monopolize its resources and reach the nascent soul stage together. Qingmun Yungjin spits on Jinlu Yongchen's face with a twisted expression akin to a malevolent ghost. You've crawled under the enemy who killed my family, Jinlu Yongchen. Jinlu Yongchen wipes the spit from her face, licks it, and embraces Qingmun Yungjin. Don't worry, I'll make you think of nothing else but me. Just live in our clan's underground for a few months, and you'll think of no one but me. This. Jinlu Yongchen embraces Qingmun Yungjin, while Mackley H. Wangchen is stepping on Jin Yowun's head. Finally, I have triumphed in the long competition against the Jin clan in my generation. Mackley H. Wangchen tramples on Jin Yowun's head with a joyous expression. Ancestors, This Makli Hwangshan has toppled the Jin clan in my generation. I will recapture Yangyuo and lead the golden age of the Makli clan. You bastard, Ki Kyuk. Jin Yowun grits his teeth and looks up at Makli Hwangshan, who mockingly shoves a shoe into his mouth. You should get used to calling me master now. Aflahi. Additionally, Byok-Chingi is flattering the Bloodwood practitioner, promising to help him rule Byokra. Traders of the East. Traders of the North are also seen stomping on their other competitors, restrained by the Jinlu clan's chains. You bastard! Manly Minlap, who fought alongside them, had his main cannon of the Nether crossing ship taken by one of the other Eastern lords. Unlike Manly Minlap, the trader brought the main cannon of the Nether crossing ship to Yuan Li. We'll do the reward distribution later. Bring the heaven-striking talisman quickly. We need to wipe these fools out and collapse the entire serving command palace to obtain the serving command seal. When Yuan Li urges Byok-Chingi, he nods and shouts to the other Byok clan core formation cultivators. Bring the heaven-striking talisman. The heaven-striking talisman is among a Byok clan core formation cultivator who recently entered the stage. It's Byok Munseong. Just as I am about to attack with the formless sword to prevent him from bringing the heaven-striking talisman, I sense something off. Byok Munseong takes out the heaven-striking talisman from a storage artifact. Wung! And he activates the talisman. Hello? What are you doing? No need to activate it. How much can you do with your chi-building cultivation? And then, Byok Munseong shouts, I'm sick of it, clan head. With those words, the young core formation cultivators of the Byok clan, centered on Byok Munseong, form a formation. 1,000 years ago, we were a subordinate clan to the Zhou clan. 200 years ago, a subordinate force to the Righteous Path Alliance. Now, we are joining under the nascent Soul Old Monster. Why can't the Byok clan stand alone, rather than sharing Byokra with the Qingmun and Gongmyo clans? WH what? Byok Munseong yells. Look, clan head. If only you hadn't betrayed us, that old monster would have fallen just now. We could have led our clan to victory in the war, not needing to be under anyone, standing proudly as a single force, leading honor and victory. Have you lost your mind? No, I have not. It's not just me, but the other descendants as well. We all believe the same. Where is the guarantee that after this war is over, that old monster won't boil the hunting dogs? Why, clan leader, are you supporting the victory of the old monster? Byok-Chingi's face contorts. Byok Munseong shouts, We've made a different choice for the future of our clan. The operation was in progress until just before the old monster's death. Without that damned heaven-sealing talisman, we could have hunted the old monster. It's you, clan leader, who needs to come to your senses. You're out of your mind. Come to your senses. If you do so now, it can be passed off as a mere deviation. The power Lord Bloodwood is hiding isn't all you've seen. Byok-Chingi continues. Right, haven't you been getting along well with the descendants of the Jin and Gongmyo clans recently? Now that both clans are the losers, you can do as you please with them. Calm down and... The one I favored. Byok Munseong speaks with a voice as if he's spitting each word out, activating the heaven-striking talisman. Is not them. Flash. Heaven-striking talisman. A strike that releases the power of a heavenly being, shoots towards Yuan Li wrapped in the heaven-sealing talisman. Kagagudugwang. One side of serving command palace is torn away. A whirlwind rages, and it looks as if the light between heaven and earth is converging towards Yuan Li. Within the radiance between heaven and earth, I see the heaven-sealing talisman wrapped around Yuan Li being stripped away. Tadat. The colorless glass swords come together. I exchange glances with Byok Munseong as I pass by him. In this strike I pour everything. Colorless glass sword, final form. The last form of the colorless glass sword. Beyond color and natural. Finally reaching the ultimate. 3,000 colorless glass swords merge into one. The spiritual energy circuits etched into each sword converge within a single blade, forming myriad spiritual energy circuits within the colorless glass sword. The more circuits, the greater the power, even if the quality of materials is poor. Colorless glass sword. Third form. All heavens. The colorless glass sword, shining in all of heaven's natural colors, stabs into Yuan Li's dantian. Translator notes, donated chapter by Mohammed Khalid and ZZP. Thanks for the support. // Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord.